let's hear it for David Hasselhoff with a little help from the 4 FH teams from VFA 94 Naval Air Station, Lemoore, California.
All right, time to load up and buckle in. Those drivers will be working hard today with this track's high speeds, tricky turns, plus the hot weather that'll maybe make things boil inside the car a little more quickly. The engines fire and the race begins next. It's no California cruise for the NASCAR Nationwide Series on this Saturday afternoon. It's 300 miles of high-speed action at the Auto Club Speedway where the engines are about to fire. Top stories on the day. The Joe Gibbs Racing Team looking to win a 6th straight Nationwide Series race at this track. Kyle Busch starting on the pole, while Joey Logano starts in 5th. And for more stories, we go to pit road and Dave Burns.
And Ellen, I want to talk about the 98 of Paul Menard, who's been racing so much better this year in the Cup Series and the Nationwide Series. His 8th place last week at Kansas Speedway, 2nd top 10 in a row in the Cup Series. That's the first time he's done that. His 8th place finish in the Nationwide Series, that was 5 in a row for him. If he finishes in the top 10 today, that'll be 6 top 10s in a row. That'll be a career mark for Paul in this series. Jamie?
Well, Dave, local boy Kevin Harvick has had one busy week. He played golf in Jimmy Johnson's golf tournament, then was a guest on the set of Modern Family, and yesterday he and his wife gave more than $151,000 to the first ever scholarship recipient in his hometown of Bakersfield, California. Now he hopes to continue that excitement right on into victory lane today for what would be his first win on his home track. Alan?
Okay, Jamie, thanks. And Danica Patrick, the only repeat race of her stock car season today, the only track she'll get 2 races on in the year. She starts a season's best 14th today as she gets buckled in. And also want to mention Carl Edwards, lined up in the number 6 position today. This has been a very good racetrack for Roush Fenway Racing over the years. They've won 6 times in Nationwide Series competition here, and Carl looking to keep that rolling today as, again, he lines up his car in the number 6 position. Hot, steamy weather conditions. How are they going to play?
Handling's going to be everything in the world for these teams. I mean, they're going to have to get on the track and see what it feels like right now to them. But I got a feeling, Brad, they're going to say, man, it is slick out here.
Yeah, I think what we're going to see, we'll find out early who the dominant cars are going to be throughout the day. They're going to take off, try to check out. It's going to come down to make sure you hit your pit stops accurately, maintain that track position, and finish the day as strong as possibly can.
And again, the last 2 races, green, white, checker finishes.
Well, that's fun.
Feisty. I guess that's my word of the day, feisty. Because that's all I can think of when I look back on the last 2 here. Feisty finishes.
Yeah.
And even though the outcome was the same, it wasn't easy getting there.
That's right.
Very, very aggressive, these guys get. The track's wide, it's fast, they can do that. You heard Keselowski saying the draft plays a big effect here. I expect a lot of the drafting out there here at the track today.
All right, so drivers finishing buckling aboard and getting ready to go. They've removed the pre-race stage. And you know what that means. It's time to get the command to fire engines and get this race started. Let's go trackside right now.
Race fans, it is time for the most famous words in motorsports. Please welcome the CampingWorld.com 300 Grand Marshal and host of CBS's multi-Emmy Award-winning Sunday night series, The Amazing Race, Phil Kogan.
Is everybody ready to race? Drivers, start your engines!
Dump some fuel around the corner up high. Crosses the track right in the center.
We hope for an amazing race today here in Southern California, a place with style and stars. Time to go upstairs to our 3 stars in the booth with plenty of style all their own. Look at those neckties you'll see right here. Marty Reed, Dale Jarrett, and Andy Petrie.
We're going to have to buy him dinner now. You realize that?
Exactly.
Thanks, Alan. Hello again, everybody. We're not going to try and pull the wool over your eyes. Right now, Joe Gibbs Racing, you've got to look at them as the favorites to win this thing, either Logano or Kyle. Let's talk about some of the other guys that could break up that party.
Yeah, guys that are hoping they can get there. And a guy I've been paying attention to all weekend, Martin Truex, and this Michael Waltrip racing machine. First time he's been here in a while, but he's been really fast, and Martin knows how to get the job done. So let's see if he can get out there and do it today. But I'm going to go to the front row, right beside Kyle Busch. Kevin Harvick. He looks like that. He's really closed the gaps on these Gibb cars. And last week at Kansas, looked like he almost had something for him. But he had a few other things to go wrong. Andy, they've got the racetrack part figured out, but there's some other issues.
Yeah, they do
have the cars fast. I mean, they were fast enough last week to really be a contender and maybe win that race, but they are going to have to fix the pit stops. They have lost spots on pit road a lot this year. Last week at Kansas, they lost a ton of spots on pit road. If they're going to win today, they have got to figure out a way, at least not to lose spots and try to gain spots, because that Gibbs team, they're not just fast on the racetrack, they're fast on pit road, and you can't beat them by losing spots on pit road.
3 in the first, 6 in the second, 3 in the last round of pit stops is what they lost. Let's talk to our in-race reporter. It's going to be Eric Almirola in the 88 for Junior Motorsports. He's going to be starting 8th today. DJ?
Hey, Eric, Dale Jarrett with ESPN. You have a copy?
Yep, gotcha.
Hey, Eric, our first question comes from our mailbag, and Joey in Schenectady, New York asked, with seams in the track and hot temperatures making the track slick, what challenges do you face in today's race?
Well, just getting the car to get the grip you need to go fast. Track position is going to be really important, but also just having grip, mechanical grip, is going to be really important today. The track slows down a lot on older tires, so we'll just work real hard on keeping our grip in our car, and hopefully we'll have a good day.
Hey, Eric, my question to you is, your 4th race with this race team, how's that line of communication going? And most importantly, is your crew chief, Tony Uri Sr., listening to what you're telling him about the race car?
Yeah, Pops is really good with these cars. We've been having a lot of fun together. It's only been 4 races, but we've had a lot of fun, and we've been doing good. We got good cars. They bring good cars to the racetrack every single weekend. So we just got to go out and not make mistakes like last weekend. I got myself in a position I didn't need to be in last weekend, and we just got to do a better job of that, or I got to do a better job of that, and go out and have good solid finishes. It's a lot of fun racing for Junior Motorsports, and hopefully we'll have a good day with our GT Vodka Chevrolet today.
All right, Eric, thanks for talking with us. You have a great day, and hopefully we'll talk to you later on. Now, Andy's going to talk to your crew chief, Tony Uri Sr.
Hey, Pops, it's Andy in the booth. You got us?
Sir, loud and clear.
Hey, we just heard Eric talking about the communication between the two of you. You've had a lot of drivers in that car this year. Have you had to make a lot of different changes? I mean, when you have a different driver in the car setup-wise?
Yeah, you know, it's like a learning process every time you put somebody different in there. You know, that's exactly why we tried to get Eric in the car earlier. We got six races here to learn each other, figure it out, and when we go to Daytona, we'll be ready to go for that championship next year.
Okay, Pops, thanks for talking to us. Got a good starting spot. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
And you already know that Eric Almirola is going to have one of our onboard cameras. Let's show you the others. We'll start off with Danica Patrick, Justin Allgaier, Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick, Mr. Leffler. Jason's up there with Stephen Wallace. Stay with us when we come back. We're going green. At Auto Club Speedway, cars are on the pace lap. Let's show you the starting grid across the top of your screen. We'll tell you 2 did not qualify, Johnny Chapman and Eric McClure. And let's get the final update from pit row, because we got 2 drivers with very different backgrounds. How about it, Doc?
You're right, Marty, and today marks the first and only time Danica Patrick has ever returned to a racetrack where she's actually driven a stock car. Although her visit here in February was forgettable, she qualified 36th and struggled to finish 31st. But this weekend has already been memorable for her because she has a career-best 14th place starting spot, and she was 4th fastest in final practice yesterday, and she's hoping maybe for her first ever top 10 finish. Vince?
Southern California is the mecca of motocross. Ricky Carmichael, 5-time AMA Rider of the Year, is a legend in this area. But this is a new 4-wheel challenge for him here in the Nationwide Series. Carmichael was solid in his debut last week at Kansas and was fast Friday here in practice before a late crash sent him to the backup car. Carmichael will start 36th today. I talked to him just before he climbed in. He said he'll be patient at the start, and he's confident of another good day, Marty.
All right, thank you, Vince. As the cars keep going around, the lights are out. Next time by, we'll be going green. Let's go over the wall, and our pit reporter over the wall is going to be the front tire changer for the 66, Mark Hollywood Armstrong. And Hollywood, since we're in Hollywood, did they roll out the red carpet for you guys?
Well, Marty, no red carpet down here, but what is down here is a very wide pit road, and that in itself takes a little bit of pressure off for these crew guys. They're able to hang it out a little bit. They don't have to worry about the car behind them or the one in front of them. So look for a lot of excitement down here. But what does get the red carpet today with us is a good friend of ours up atop the pit box, is Don the Snake Perdome.
Ah, there he is. That 4-time funny car champion, 2-time owner of Larry Dixon and Top Fuel, winning championships there. Snake, great to see you out here again. All right, let's get ready to go green. 2 cars going to the rear. Mike Wallace in the 01 for an engine change, and Morgan Shepherd in the 21 for unapproved adjustments. Our track facts, as you take a look, obviously don't go over 55, you're going to get busted, but everybody is talking about the seams, TJ.
Yeah, and you can't really avoid them, but you will see these drivers try to drive around them as much as they possibly can, and the most important thing, because they only have 14 degrees of banking, is to have the car straight whenever you're going across them on the exit of the corner.
Get a great view of what they look like right there, and the hotter it gets, it seems the slicker they get.
Yeah, they do. This is just tar that's filled in these seams where this track was put together, and just as you said, this temperature goes up, makes these things even more difficult to deal with.
So the 43 cars that qualified earlier this morning are now coming out of turn number 4. Pace car turns down off of the track and onto pit road, led by Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski, Martin Truex, and Joey Logano. Those are the same 5 guys that finished in the top 5 last week at Kansas in the Nationwide Series. And here, the CampingWorld.com 300 is now green.
Kevin Harvick got a great run off turn 2 there.
I was watching Mike Bliss get way high through turn 2, but there it is, Kyle Busch in front of Kevin Harvick.
And that was after Kevin Harvick spun his tires on the start of this race, and we'll see how that plays out later on. We've seen that really have a big effect on some of these green-white checkers we've seen in the past here.
Well, Kevin's already doing what he told me before qualifying. He said, watch me go. I'll probably be up in the middle of the track early.
Yeah, he's actually further up than the middle. You saw Carl Edwards right there. He was all the way down on almost the apron on the front stretch.
Brad Keselowski's going to try the low line to get underneath Harvick for that second position. Right now, Harvick's able to carry the momentum. Keselowski falls back into position in 3rd. Truex is in 4th. Edwards 5th. Logano 6th. Side-by-side action now as they come down the straightaway there. The 1 car of Ryan Newman. Underneath the 66 of Stephen Wallace. Here comes Reed Sorensen in the 32 trying to take a look inside as well. Justin Allgaier got the door slammed on him by Stephen Wallace as they come out of 4. Those 4 cars now get into single file. Allgaier's going to try that middle portion of the track. A little bit further back, there you see the race leaders as they come zipping by. Here on lap number 4. Allgaier has gotten around the 66 now, and he's setting sail for the 32. And Justin felt like he had a good race car. They didn't qualify as well as they want to. It's the same car they won with back at Bristol.
Yeah, and what I can see right there is he's taking a different approach, backing out a little bit early and getting back to the throttle soon. As Carl Edwards taking a spot away from Martin Truex Jr. here early.
I've been watching Carl Edwards since the start of the race. He's steadily moving up. Now, he didn't qualify that well. Now, he had a bad draw. He kind of went late in the session, so he's making his way to the front.
1 car has already taken it behind the wall. Jeff Green has become our first start and park of the day. There you see Carl. He is 4th, followed by Logano in 5th. Martin Truex now in 6th. And our in-race reporters moved up to 7th, Eric Almirola. There's Danica Patrick. She's the 1 car on the in portion, and she is further back in the field right now. I'll give you an update on her. She is running 17th. How about this battle going on? Because here comes Jason Leffler taking a peek on Stephen Wallace. That is for 12th.
You can see the difficulty that these guys are having trying to make a pass on that bottom side. It's obviously the shortest way around, but sometimes that doesn't always work.
Well, we're talking about 3 and 4 wide. Here's our first gathering and look at it as Allgaier still on the move. Gets around the 1 of Ryan Newman, and he is on the flying side of the track.
That's what's so great about this track. I mean, they can run 3 wide all the way through the corner, no problem. Kevin Harvick now starting to put some pressure on Kyle Busch.
Kyle still going to the bottom of the racetrack. Harvick staying up higher.
Yeah, what you can do with this top side is really keep the momentum up through the center of the corner, make you a nice run off, and that makes the straightaway even longer.
These 2 are trying to make it their own little private show right now. They've got a 1.4 second lead over 3rd place, Brad Keselowski. There you see the gap on your screen. Left side of your screens, we'll go double box for you. Look at Newman coming back on the 12 of Justin Allgaier and Paul Menard. This is the battle for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th.
You see on the right side of the screen how Kevin Harvick gets such a big run off turn 2. That's it. Probably his best part of the racetrack is getting off that corner.
On board with Harvick on the right side. Newman has cleared Allgaier on the left. This time by, we'll have completed lap number 7. And so far, Kyle Busch picking up where he usually likes to run here, right up front.
Yeah, he does, and you can see he'll go more to the bottom of the racetrack. Harvick's going to stay up there towards the middle part of the track. He loses that distance there, but where he really starts to gain is being able to carry that momentum and come back on the straightaway. What he'll have to hope for is Kyle get to the point that maybe his car is a little bit tight in the center, and then he can make a pass and get that run better, Jamie.
Well, you guys, I talked to Ernie Cope, the crew chief for Kevin Harvick yesterday, and I asked what the difference in this race car from the spring is. He said they brought a different race setup. They said it turns better through the center. They've run it a couple times this year, and it seems to be a lot better, and that's exactly what you guys are talking about. He's rolling through the center better than the 18, and that is where he's making up his time.
Well, that's something they've really been working on. They knew that the Gibbs cars were beating them, and it was a lot of it in the center of the corner. They're making their car turn better where Kevin could get back in the gas and utilize those good engines that he has was something they've really worked hard on.
Left side of your screen, Danica Patrick's just been passed by Trevor Bayne. Puts her in the 19th position, so she's dropped 5 spots here in the early going. But looking at her lap times, she's running 43.5. The leaders are running 42.2. Harvick closing a little bit again as he's getting in, but can he get
he's got a good run this time. Well, he's got a good run. He just knows that he's probably not going to be able to dive to the inside and anything happen from there. So he's either going to try to loosen Kyle up a little bit, or as I said, make sure to see if Kyle, now he's a lot closer this time, he might get that outside.
Here we go. Coming out of 2. He may be able to do it. Kevin Harvick. Can he take over the race lead here on lap number 10? And yes, he will.
That's just the way you draw it up there. You work a guy and you work that position. Now, Kyle's going to try to dive back down and see if he can maybe put a slide job on him off of forward. Now, Kevin's got too much momentum going here.
And he will fall back in, so as he crosses the line, he'll officially become our second leader with our first lead change here on lap number 11 now that we start. So you can see the gap is now 2.5 seconds back to third place. Brad Keselowski with Edwards and Logano rounding out your top 5. Don't forget to go to Goodyear.com to show your thanks and help support our troops. Goodyear, the official tire of NASCAR. Back here at Auto Club Speedway, Kevin Harvick is leading one of the 6 active tracks that he has not won on in the Nationwide Series, and this is considered his home track, growing up in Bakersfield. Kyle Busch is now 1.3 seconds behind. There you see Justin Allgaier. He has just moved up. Justin has been on the fly here, started 11th, and he has moved up now into the 6th position. He's about a second and a half behind Carl Edwards. Now, if you're a Verizon Wireless customer, you can text Champion to 43776 for exclusive Champion chats. It's content from our NASCAR Now Roundtable of Experts. Justin finished 9th back here in February, his best finish here in 3 prior starts. Watching Danica Patrick right now alongside the 11 of James Buescher. Danica trying to get underneath Buescher, currently in that 19th position. Trying to take the 18th spot away from Buescher. Can't seem to quite get it done.
Sure, there like that. Use that air off. Getting out of the corner there.
We just heard Brewer talking about that in the pre-race show.
Yeah.
About how you do that.
Yeah. And she did a nice job there. And what you have to do with that inside car is you have to separate yourself a little bit. Don't let that other car get down there and take that air away from you.
Car slow on the apron. Is that Jason Leffler in the 38? It certainly is. So Leffler in trouble here early. This is definitely not scheduled.
Pretty quiet.
Yeah, too quiet. So a tough break for Leffler. Jamie, what's going on?
Guys, the team is telling me right now it has blown up, so the day is over. There's no oil pressure is what we're hearing right now. Tough weekend. It has been a tough few weeks for this 38 team and Jason Leffler. They had a terrible race car. First time they brought it to the racetrack, they were struggling to get it better. He moved up a positions. And now, guys, it looks like his day is over.
This will be his 9th DNF of the year. It has been a very difficult year for Jason Leffler. Right now, race leader Kevin Harvick getting ready to put another car down a lap. And that'll be the 70 of Mark Green. We can also tell you several others have gone behind the wall. Kevin LePage, Danny Eflin, Brian Keselowski, Miller, Setzer, Green, all behind the wall right now.
Well, Kevin Harvick definitely has this race car set up to his liking. He's beaten Kyle Busch by about 0.6 of a second here the last few laps, and has stretched it out to 2.5 seconds.
And we're just getting close to the top of the hour here. And there is our race leader. If you've just joined us, we're glad you're with us here at Auto Club Speedway. Kevin Harvick is one of 2 leaders that we've had. He's led a total of 8 of the 16 laps. This is a battle for the 11th position with Michael Annett and Paul Menard.
Yeah, Michael Annett's moved up 11 spots since the beginning of the race. Passing Paul Menard. He's got him a fast car today.
Let's get an update on that 98 from Dave Burns.
Yeah, guys, right now, Paul Menard does not have a fast race car. After a really good qualifying run, he started 7th, but he's been complaining about the car being loose and in yaw way too much right there, center off the corner. He says it's really yawing out on him, and that's causing him to lose positions.
And he's still trying to put the pressure on Annett. And we mentioned Annett, he finished 16th last week at Kansas.
Yeah, and talking about Paul Menard and the problems he's having here, well, you have to try to carry so much momentum through the center of the corner with these tapered spacers with these cars, and you need to be in the throttle a lot. But when that thing is yawed out, as he was talking about, and that means that the back end's trying to turn around on him, it makes a very difficult situation to get any speed out of your race car.
One last note on Michael Annett. Don't blink if he ends up in that top 10. He finished 6th in this race last season. That was his best finish of the 2009 season. So he likes this racetrack. Not missing anything up front. Kevin Harvick still leads by 2.8 seconds. This is one of the tightest battles we have on the track. There is our race leader, Kyle Busch, running in 2nd.
He kind of turned the tables on Kyle Busch. He gets out front and lets Kyle look at his rear bumper for a while. He's probably done. I know Kevin Harvick's done a lot of that this year, looking at Kyle's.
Well, Kyle's got a few lap cars he's going to have to get around to see that bumper for a while. There you see his serial right now and how he has lost ground to the race leader. Doc?
Yeah, Kyle Busch has said the car basically, guys, is just tight on exit of both 2 and 4, so he can't get the car to turn. The spotter helped Kyle a little bit, and then watching the line that Kevin Harvick was running when Kevin was running him down to pass him, Kyle made a move up to the 3rd groove, into the 4th groove. It didn't make much of a difference. We're going to have to make an adjustment on the first pit stop, so the car won't be quite so tight on exit.
You can see he was making an adjustment right there while he's on the racetrack still. He got left side tires down on the apron. That's something you can do here, is get those left sides down to help make your car turn a little bit better.
Battle for 7th right now with Reed Sorensen in this position, and Martin Truex Jr. wanted to take it away.
Actually, Reed Sorensen just took that position away.
Yeah, Martin said his car had a lot of speed in it, but they weren't quite as happy as they wanted to be yesterday in the longer run. So it looked like they're still battling that. You can see the back end of the car sliding a little bit there.
Reed starting to open up a little bit of ground. Guys, we're talking about how rough that backstretch is, and you can actually see it visibly on our shots from there. Here's Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski. This is a battle for 3rd as this has begun to heat up. Keselowski, of course, the points leader by right now well over 380. It is no longer really in doubt. Mathematically, he hasn't been clinched, but everybody's pretty much in agreement that Brad would have to basically retire to not win this championship. Here comes Logano, side by side, drifts up close.
There you see Joey using that side draft. He gets over just a little bit close to Brad Keselowski and tries to use that draft to get an advantage. You can actually slow that car down a little bit doing that.
Well, and he also was able to use Robert Richardson as one of 2 picks.
Well, Robert Richardson in the 23, we've seen Coleman Presley in that car some this year, and he won the UARA championship earlier today at Rockingham. So congratulations to Coleman.
Kenny Wallace also being passed right there. That team came out with extremely limited funds. They're still looking for more sponsorship. Let's get an update from pit road, Dave.
And Marty, it's on the 20 of Logano. I think I know what they're going to need to go to work on. Recently, Joey has had trouble on the short runs with his car getting up to speed. You see, he didn't really make much progress early on in the run, and his car was very, very loose. He did report that it was slowly tightening up and coming to him. Thus, he's been able to get around the 22, but he did say he wants it to be way tighter at the start, and that's something they're going to have to work on throughout the day.
All right, thanks, Dave. Let's update you on some more starting parks. David Gilliland has put it behind the wall. Danico Quinn has just gone behind the wall as well. So as this battle has settled down for the moment between Logano and Brad Keselowski, let's go check in on our race leader as he's coming up on Morgan Shepherd. And right now, Morgan would be in 29th position, so that would give us 28 cars on the lead lap when he gets lapped. There is second place, Kyle Busch. But boy, right now, Kevin Harvick is the man to beat. Joey Logano's 8 seconds behind the race leader. Kyle Busch, 3 behind.
Sizzling day in Southern California, the NASCAR Nationwide Series racing at the Auto Club Speedway. About time for the pit crews to become the stars of the show as we are in a long green flag run to start the race. Not all that unusual on this speedy 2-mile track. Caution free so far with Kevin Harvick out in front after taking the lead from Kyle Busch on the 9th lap of this race, and Kevin has opened up a 3.8-second gap on second place Kyle. And we're closing in on what would be the first set of pit stops. In the last 2 races here, the first set of pit stops have happened at lap 34 and at lap 39. We're at lap 28 now, so beginning to close in on that pit window. And the pit stops, Rusty Wallace and Brad Daugherty, lead us to the story of Kevin Harvick's crew versus Kyle Busch's crew. One that's been the stars of the season, one that's been struggling.
The Gibbs teams have had fantastic pit stops all year long, been real reliable. They've been quick, about 13-second flat pit stops. But the Kevin Harvick's team, on the other hand, they have really struggled with that. And we've seen Kevin in the past get good leads, have a great car, only to be ruined when they come down pit road, Brad.
Yeah, and a lot of times we've also, we've seen Kevin trying to catch that 18 car, so putting even more pressure on his pit crew to perform. He has a dominant car right now. We'll see after this pit stop if they can maintain that for him.
Check this out. 6th, 7th, and 8th. Sorensen in the 32. Carl Edwards in the 60. And Martin Truex Jr. in the 99. That's Allgaier just in front of them in the 12. I've been wondering what's going on with this 99 car because he fell back a little bit at the start. Doc, he's trying to dig it back a little bit. There's a couple more spots.
Alan, he's only been in a Nationwide car twice in the last 4 years, so he has not been on a track with this much temperature and heat. The car, to put it in his words, is absolutely sideways. Said, I'm having so much trouble hanging on to the car. They're actually going to pit a little bit early coming in on lap 41. He's called for a big-time adjustment to the track bar and air pressure.
Now, if my math is correct, he just got 3 spots in 1 lap there. That's
yeah, you might want to leave that thing alone. Leave it loose. Drive the heck out of it.
Farther back, Eric Almirola trying to make up some ground here. He's racing Trevor Bayne in the 17.
Alan, what's one thing you've been watching, though? These guys have been on the bottom of the track, the middle of the top. They got a lot of options out here now. They're searching around, trying to get their car handled the best. And in my mind, this first pit stop's going to be very important to get these cars tuned up because it's hot. It's 90 degrees outside right now.
And this race going on back for 14th and 15th positions. Almirola started in 8th, so that 88 car been losing some ground in the opening run of this race. He, like Martin Truex Jr. we talked about a minute ago and many others, can't wait for that first crack at an adjustment on a very warm day here in California. Kevin Harvick has opened his lead up further to 4 seconds after 30 of 150 laps in Southern California.
But we're focusing our attention with Justin Allgaier. He's under attack from Reed Sorensen. Dave, what's the latest you're hearing on Sorensen?
Well, Marty, he's moving forward, which is good news for his race car, from 12th to 7th on this first run. But he's got some comfort issues inside the cockpit. Listen to his radio transmission.
Hose is burning my neck.
We heard that about lap 20. He's been dealing with it ever since. Let's go to the Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer. Tim, what kinds of things can get in there and really burn a driver up in the neck area?
It's all about heat, Dave. These engines do not have oil in the oil pans. right here behind the seat. These cars carry about 4.5 gallons of oil, and it's about 6 inches from the driver's head. Now, what could be happening, NASCAR requires you to have a lid bolted on this area, but if it's got a little crack in it, letting a little heat go up here, that's one thing. But if they fail to put insulation right here in this area, you got 220 degrees of oil temperature sitting right behind that driver, and that's where he's going to get hot. Guys?
All right, thanks, Tim. And Stephen Wallace, the first to come in on pit road. Dave?
And Marty, his car was, in his words, super tight. As we see the over-the-wall crew go into the 66 car, they're planning to make a track bar adjustment and an air pressure adjustment on 3 of the 4 tires for Steven to try to loosen that car up.
Stop is done.
Go.
16.2.
Clear all the way to the wall. 4,500, second gear.
Not the fastest of pit stops, especially under green flag conditions, but Steven back out on the track. Kevin Harvick still leading by 4.3 seconds over Kyle Busch. Then it's Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, and Martin Truex Jr. rounding out top 5.
Yeah, and you talk about Martin Truex Jr. He's the fastest car on the racetrack. We heard him talk about how loose his race car was, but he has made it fast. He's driving a little different line, getting into the corner, right up against the wall, getting out of it early, but man, he is making a lot of time.
11 cars pulled in. James Buescher, there's his stop as they are on the left side. I can also tell you Willie Allen made a pit stop. So did Mike Bliss. These are cars that are already a lap down.
I'll tell you one problem. You heard talking about Martin Truex Jr. He's wanting to tighten that car up. As a crew chief, I would be wondering how much I want to do that because that car is so fast at the end of these long runs.
Yeah, I think you have to just a little bit so you don't lose so much time at the beginning. But if you can do just a small adjustment, man, you don't want to mess with what's happening right now too much.
Allgaier opens up a little bit of space over Reed Sorensen. Now in pits, Brendan Gaughan. Let's go to Vince.
Well, you see Brendan Gaughan, they're making a 4-tire change, making an air pressure adjustment on the 62 as well. He finished 7th here in this race a year ago, unloaded well this weekend. They were very happy with the car coming in. Doc?
Kyle Busch coming down 55 miles an hour, 4,700 RPM. You see the left side of your screen here, diving into his pits. The car has been very tight on exit. Air pressure adjustment, 4 tires. They're going to go ahead and make a chassis adjustment here to try to help him on exit. Kyle had tried to change the line on the racetrack, but to no avail. Left side tires going on. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick exiting the racetrack and coming down pit road.
Carl Edwards also in, Doc. You see him right there. They're on the right side. Doc, let's take it away.
Yeah, very loose for Carl Edwards. And Carl had said the hotter it gets, the better I'm going to like it. But the car's a little bit too free all the way through the corner. Air pressure adjustment for Carl. He is down and away. Jamie.
Well, Kevin Harvick had a 4-second lead. Remember last week he had 2 slow pit stops that cost him a lot of track position. No adjustments. Of course, the car is flawless right now. 4 tires. They're going to fill it up with Sunoco fuel. Let's see the time clock right there, the bottom left. While it takes away, let's go to Dave Burns.
And Jamie, the 20 of Joey Logano is in. They will change 4 tires full of Sunoco fuel. They made a chassis adjustment and air pressure. The car was a little bit tight in the front of the race car, he said, about lap 25. Joey is gone.
Also in, Brad Keselowski. Doc?
Adjustment on Keselowski. The car very, very free, but he is down and away 4 tires. And right in front of Keselowski, they're waiting on Martin Truex to come down. Let's check in with Vince.
Danica Patrick. Danica Patrick.
Go hard. 88, go.
Well, we must have had a little transmission problem with Vince, but we'll finish it off. You see Danica Patrick getting back out, and there is the 12 of Justin Allgaier as he is in, and the 99 of Martin Truex.
Yes.
Doc?
Yeah, he said he had been really, really free, but the car was actually coming to him. You heard DJ say how good the car was. It was tightening up. But Martin is still called for 2 rounds down on the track bar. Go ahead and make the adjustment so it's better early in the run. He is down and away, 16.3 seconds.
And we saw the wrench go in the back window there, Doc. They made that adjustment. We'll see how it affects Martin Truex.
So it looks like all the cycle of pit stops has occurred. Our race leader right now is shown once again, Kevin Harvick. And guess what, guys? He didn't lose any ground this time. In fact, his lead right now is 6.7 seconds. We got to wait, though, for the
Yeah, I'd like to wait for it to cycle a lap after all these stops and kind of see. It was 4.5 seconds before he made that pit stop. You see now they flash across the line. It's only 2.09. So that Kyle Busch, I don't know how he does this. He makes up all this ground on these green flag stops, and he does it without getting a speeding penalty.
So, yes, after scoring cycled through, it is 2.09 seconds. the difference. And there you see right in front of him 2 other cars. The 11 of James Buescher and the 7 of Danica Patrick.
Yeah, you can see right there the pit stop was actually slower. Now, one thing that happened right there, Kyle Busch pitted 1 lap before Kevin Harvick, so that's worth a little bit. It could be worth a second or so, but I mean, he made up quite a bit of ground. You're talking about 4.5 seconds to 2 seconds. That's a good amount of pickup.
Yeah, there's a couple of things I see with Kyle Busch. He's extremely aggressive getting to that pit entry line, and then he is very good at going around the apron of the racetrack after he has exited and gone past that where you really get up to speed. I see him carry more speed around these aprons than a lot of the other guys, so he just does a fantastic job.
Well, let's go ahead and give Kevin Harvick's pit crew credit. Now, they did step up to the plate here, and they made a good pit stop, and so far, so good.
We have 18 cars on the lead lap. Right now, Danica Patrick is the first car, 1 lap down in 19th position. And a total of 9 cars officially out of this race with Kevin Harvick up front. Won't be hard for us to show you this one because a brake duct hose, there it is, still rolling around. They'll track it down. But had this been a harder piece, watch what happens to Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, see, it bounces off of, look, maybe even Reed Torrance, but then it bounced off a 12 car, hits the ground, and then, man, look at the air time that hose got.
Yeah, and it might look pretty simple, but those pieces of hose have wire inside them. Could have easily get someone's tire, and it might just put a small hole, but a hole nevertheless. So NASCAR had to throw the caution.
And the lucky dog will go to the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Pit road is open, and Paul Menard is going to take advantage of it. Dave?
And Marty, really the only reason right now is because Paul had a vibration on that race car. All the tire changers told their crew chief and relayed to Paul that they had gotten everything tight. It looks like they're going to maybe pull or put in a spring rubber as well, working hard on the left rear of that race car. But the vibration is what Paul was complaining about. And you don't want to leave a driver on the track when he's got that.
And with only 18 cars on the lead lap, it's probably a better move.
Well, they're making a big adjustment. They put wedge in. Looks like they put a spring rubber in the left rear. Paul must be pretty loose.
So the work is completed, and he's back out onto the track. Carl Edwards, as he is running in 6th position right now. Let's get the latest from pit road, Dr. Jerry Bunch.
Marty, you were talking about some of the debris on the racetrack. Carl Edwards hit something on the racetrack just before that pit stop about 6 laps ago. And just before he came down pit road, said, we got an issue. As they were coming down pit road, the team noticed that the right rear tire looked low. When they got it off, it had less than 10 pounds of air pressure in it. So a huge break, dodging a bullet, so to speak, for Carl Edwards with that first green flag stop.
All right, Doc, thanks for the update there. As we mentioned, Kevin Harvick, the race leader. We're going to have our first side-by-side restart when we come back. It could be very exciting.
What to do when you're being outrun. Kyle Busch's team, Joey Logano's team, all the other teams on pit road with the exception of Kevin Harvick's, trying to figure out how to stop the Speedy 33 a third of the way through today's NASCAR Nationwide Series 300-miler here in Southern California. Before we go back to green in a half a lap, we remind you that tomorrow it's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Pepsi Max 400. Our coverage, ESPN, 3 Eastern Time. NASCAR Countdown is on ESPN as well tomorrow at 2 Eastern. NASCAR Now on ESPN 2. Pre-race show 9 a.m. Eastern and the post-race wrap-up at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And for the straight liners, it's the Toyo Tires NHRA Nationals from Reading. Qualifying tonight, 10:30 Eastern, ESPN 2. The finals tomorrow, 9 Eastern. Note that is ESPN. Well, Kevin Harvick's had the better of Kyle Busch in the opening run of this race. Now after the first caution, Kyle's going to be to Kevin's inside for a restart that's going to come as we hit the 1/3 mark of this race real quick as they come to the green. So you got anything for him on this one?
I think he really does. He's proved he's got a fast car throughout this whole run, but they're all stacked up together now. Let's see who's got the best hot rod.
Watch for guys spinning their tires here. We've seen it on restarts before. Here we go.
Ryan Newman, you see him about 6-7 cars back. He goes to the inside, picks up a spot. Going to be 3 wide coming out of turn 2. Side by side for the race lead. Harvick and Kyle Busch. Kyle's going to have that low line. Here he goes down into 3.
Yeah, he's really making this work on these fresh tires. We saw him strike out early in this race and lead. Kevin Harvick ran him down, but Kyle Busch showing a little muscle right now. Maybe the adjustment they made is just what he was looking for.
Look a bit further back. That's Michael Annett side by side. Here comes one of Rusty Wallace's cars. It is the 66 of Steven. He's side by side with Eric Almirola. Paul Menard right behind that mix. On the high side there, left side of your screen, Trevor Bayne in the 17. And that car looks wicked loose. And whoa, speaking of loose, Wallace almost gets it turned around.
It's a nice save by Stephen Wallace.
Kyle still hugging the bottom of the racetrack. It is Busch, Harvick, Keselowski. That's your top three, followed by Joey Logano, Carl Edwards, Martin Truex, and Justin Allgaier on board with Keselowski.
Yeah, we can see from that last shot, Kyle Busch still utilizing that apron. You have to think that he's still a little bit tight with his setup.
Mike Bliss on the low side of this three-wide gathering, and it is Paul Menard on the high side, the 17 of Trevor Bayne. Now this is all for race position. Vince?
Well, that's 17 of Trevor Bayne. He's had his hands full on the bottom. He says it's just sliding around a lot, way too loose at the start of the run. Said he felt like they've given up too much at the start of the run, each of these last two restarts, feeling as though their car gets better late in the run, but by then they've given up too much and have too much ground to make up. If he can get it going early in the run, they might have something.
Paul Menard gave him a little bit of a nudge there, and he was able to gather it back up left side of your screen. Great battle going on between Truex and Allgaier for sixth.
Justin Allgaier had made a pass on Martin Truex, but Truex coming back on the high side trying to make that work again.
They're side by side right behind them. It's Ryan Newman and Sorensen and Almirola. Now Harvick still on the high side. Now he's under attack for second place. Brad Keselowski coming up alongside. What's the latest on the 33, Jamie?
Marty, remember on that first round of pit stops, Kevin Harvick opted not to make any changes. Now he says the car starting out is a bit too free, and that could be the reason why we're not seeing him jump out to the lead as you see the 22 all over his bumper. Marty?
All right, there is three wide action further back. Mike Wallace, remember, he started in the rear of this field. There's Danica Patrick on the inside. On the high side is Brendan Gaughan. Now, Wallace is a lap down in 21st. Patrick is 22nd. Brendan is 17th. Back to the battle for second right now. And here is Harvick still with Brad Keselowski all over him.
Yeah, and I think Harvick's car will come around after we get some laps run here. He doesn't want to lose too much more contact with Kyle Busch, but what we've seen with these looser race cars, as they get some laps, this place will typically tighten up a little bit.
Yeah, we saw that with the 99 car, Martin Truex. His car was really loose, slid back, way back, but he started coming like gangbusters at the end of that long run.
Well, it reminds me of the very start of the race. Kyle jumped out to the early lead. Then it was Kevin who reeled him in and then eventually took the lead 9 laps in to the start. So we'll keep an eye on, see what happens this time around.
Yeah, I think watching Kevin's car right now is starting to come to him a lot better.
Yeah, it's kind of hitting the sweet spot for Kevin. It's definitely coming back towards Kyle Busch.
How about Carl Edwards now on the back bumper of Joey Logano? That's the battle for fourth on the racetrack.
You can see from that shot right there, Kevin Harvick has caught Kyle Busch now. It only took 2 laps to do it.
Yeah, the great thing about that for Kevin, if it goes a long run, he'll be in good shape. But if it comes down to a short run for the win, looks like Kyle Busch will have the advantage.
Boy, and look at Logano and these guys all getting together here with Keselowski and Joey side by side, and all of a sudden Keselowski's lost contact, and here comes Logano around him, and Carl's going to take the low line as well and try and follow on through. And meanwhile, up front, here comes Harvick, just as we talked about. Here it's almost identical to what happened at the start of the race.
Yeah, and that's just a difference in the way these cars are going to be set up a little bit. Kyle's car is tight enough that he can get out there, jump out there, but that hurts him then. The car just continues to get tight, where Kevin's car was a little bit free. Now it's starting to come to him probably right there at neutral, where he's going to really make some good time.
It's got to be fun as a driver when your car finally gets to that sweet spot and you say, okay, now, and you see him coming back towards you because you know the pass is going to be easy.
Yeah, it's a great feeling as long as you know that there's not going to be something like a green-white checker at the end of the race.
I was just going to say, Jason Radcliffe just took a notepad and said, okay, we want JWC. Here comes Carl Edwards again on the 22 of Brad Keselowski. From on board with Brad's perspective out the back.
Yeah, Carl looks like he's made an adjustment on his car, too, that seems to be fitting him a little bit better. Wasn't able to complete that pass on Keselowski yet.
I was talking to Carl before qualifying, and I said, well, how much did you give up? As here comes Joey Logano on his teammate for second position. We'll get back to Carl's story a little bit later because Joey has just taken over the second spot.
Yeah, that's kind of what we saw in that first run, that Joey's car came around a little bit, said he was a little too loose to start with, needed to make an adjustment. Looked like they did that.
Yeah, sometimes these long runs, that can actually switch back over again. I mean, Kevin Harvick can get a big lead, but at the very end of that first long run we had, Kevin Harvick is actually just a tick slower than Kyle Busch. So it can actually even flip back the other way if it's an extremely long run.
You saw there momentarily, top 5, all the way from Harvick to Logano, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, and Carl Edwards after 59 of 150 laps here at Auto Club Speedway. The top 5 here at Auto Club Speedway across the top of your screen. You're looking at the top 3 and the bottom as they're duking it out. The drivers currently in that top 5, they've won 22 of the 29 races so far this year, and this is getting really good as there goes Kyle underneath and around Joey.
I was a little surprised. The way that Joey Logano got up there was running kind of in between these seams down in 1 and 2, and he moved up the racetrack for some reason. Kyle's found that line, and now he's doing a better job. He goes all the way to the apron here.
Man, he was all the way down the apron.
And it has closed him up on the 33 of race leader Kevin Harvick. Harvick has led 48 laps, Kyle 14. Martin Truex Jr. has led 1. Those are our 3 leaders right now, but this battle for the top spot between Kevin Harvick, as he's soldiering alone against the 2 Joe Gibbs racing machines of Kyle Busch and Joey Logano, and here comes Kyle again. Can't get it done.
Yeah, he'll make a big dive at him down here in turn 3, though. He'll go those left sides back on the apron. He'll actually probably pull up close to being beside Harvick.
Kevin said before qualifying he felt as the day went on, turns 3 and 4 would be much more wicked than turns 1 and 2. He's hanging on to the spot and actually opened up a little bit of ground now as we've completed lap 66.
Look who's in the lucky dog spot. Danica Patrick is starting to pass a lot of cars and put herself in position to get that lap back if the caution comes out.
Yeah, these are 2 cars that were on the lead lap she just passed at the 98 and the 17.
Doing it, girl. Looks good.
She's doing a great job.
Menard is in 14th right now, and you're right, she did go around him. What's the latest you're hearing, Vince?
Well, Danica's becoming much more comfortable. She's talked about throughout the course of the weekend that it feels like years ago, not months ago, that she was here before when she raced here in February. Feels like she's way ahead of the curve as compared to before. Her spotter helping her through the corners. They've really been working on her arc through the corners and letting it roll through on the bottom. Updating on her lap times, leaps and bounds better. Each week we hear on the radio from Danica Patrick. She's doing pretty well so far.
Well, let's show you the biggest movers in the race so far. As there you see Brendan Gaughan, since the restart, has picked up 6 spots. Danica has picked up 5, and she is in that lucky dog spot, 1 lap down in 19th. And I thought the comment that really spoke volumes in the pre-race broadcast was when she said, when I came here before, it felt like a 1.5 mile track. Now it feels like a 2-mile track. Explain what she was talking about.
Well, everything was happening. She was trying to take in so much and give so much information that she didn't even realize where she was on the racetrack a lot of times. And so now she comes here. We see a battle here again as Joey Logano is trying to take that second spot back away from Kyle Busch. But she was just so overwhelmed with what was happening because she'd come from Daytona in a stock car, which was totally different than this. Now she was able to get here, relax, and really break the racetrack down. And they brought a better setup back for her, too.
They got a great car, and I got to think that Tony Eury Jr. down there is thinking, man, wish we could get a caution because they could be right in this thing for a top 15, maybe even better finish.
Well, as we've had the 1 caution so far, and if you really want to know how the record is for cautions, well, back in February we only had 4. In this race last year we had 10, so it could go anywhere as far as the number of cautions. We're working now, it'll be lap 69 that we have crossing the stripe. Let's go back to the battle for 11th on the racetrack as you got Michael Annett, Eric Almirola, Brendan Gaughan, and Gaughan is flying by. Michael on the high side.
Yeah, we know Brendan Gaughan likes to get up there kind of high, wide, and handsome and make things go, and he's really making that work.
Let's go back to the battle for second, because Kyle, as you know about Kyle, doesn't like to be behind anybody.
Well, he's not going to get out of the gas for anything. You know, there's plenty of racetrack out there. Somebody's in the lane that he wants to go. He's going to stay in the throttle and see where he can go somewhere else and make a pass like he did right there for second on Joey Logano.
To go back to Brendan Gaughan real quick, he's got a little fresher tires than these other leaders. He pitted on that last caution. And looks like Paul Menard's back in, Dave.
Yeah, this time they think they have a tire going down, Andy, and they think it's either right rear or left rear. They're going to go to the right side. Let's see if they change all four just to make sure. Yes, indeed, they're going to. Definitely left rear looks flat to me. So Paul not having a good day after a decent qualifying run this morning.
He had run 21 laps on that set of tires, and obviously a tough break for Paul Menard as he was trying to make a career best streak and continue it here. And race still young enough that he might be able to get back.
Yeah, he'd need for it just to kind of cycle around another set of green flag pit stops. If that could happen, it would work out okay for him.
Check in on Justin Allgaier and the 99 of Martin Truex, and that's the battle for sixth.
We saw him make an adjustment on his car on that green flag stop. Must tighten him up a little bit at the beginning, but he's not, charging to the front like he did that first run about this point.
He's actually running Justin Allgaier back down. Justin had pulled away by about 10 or 15 car lengths. Now Truex has gotten back closer to him.
Check in on the battle for 11th. Eric Almirola, Michael Annett. And Annett goes by him on the high side. Let's get an update on the 88, Jamie.
Well, Eric Almirola started this race 8th, and he was so loose he just slid back. The first round of pit stops, they made a big air pressure adjustment all around, all four tires. The car has gotten a little bit better, but it's gone to the extreme opposite. It's too tight now, and he says he's feeling the left front spring hitting. So his crew chief, Tony Uri Sr., said, I think we need to have you on the right front. I believe they're talking about coil binding, and that's just the growing pains of getting to know each other, driver and crew chief. But the 88 continuing to move forward. Marty?
But that's exactly what Pops was saying to you on the two-way communication before the start of the race. Do it now, so we're ready to go next year.
Yeah, that's why they're doing this. I mean, they're going to put Eric in this car the rest of the year, and that's the kind of things they have to learn. That's, left front versus right front coil binding, that's something that is really is kind of a driver preference feel type thing. And, a lot of times, even the driver likes it, it might not be fast enough, so they have to kind of go the other way and make him kind of, learn to like the other setup.
Right in front of these guys, you saw Brendan Gaughan take a look at 9th place. Ryan Newman had none of it. He holds on to the spot. Right in front of them is Reed Sorensen running in 8th. We are getting ready to come up to the halfway mark in this race here, guys. It is flying by. Still turning laps in the 43-second range. There you get a better perspective from Newman, Gaughan, Annett, and Almirola from 9th all the way back through 12th position. Where are they in relationship to the race lead? Well, here comes Kevin Harvick, and he has now got a 9/10 of a second lead over Kyle Busch. Joey Logano 3rd, Brad Keselowski in 4th. Carl Edwards rounds out your top 5.
Yeah, it looks like that looseness that Kevin had at the beginning of this run is now paying some dividends. He's able to beat these two Gibbs cars by about a tenth and a half a lap.
Well, as we get ready to approach halfway, we'll step aside. As we mentioned, there's your top 5. A long way to go before this one's over. Welcome back to the CampingWorld.com 300. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. Kevin Harvick is our race leader here by just about a second over Kyle Busch. Joey Logano is 3rd. Brad Keselowski and Carl Edwards rounds out the top 5. We will tell you Stephen Wallace has just made his 2nd green flag pit stop. He was the first to come in on the last cycle.
So if you're trying to use a little bit of a short pitting strategy to try to leapfrog through the lineup a little bit, sometimes that works out.
Battle for 9th is continuing between Brendan Gaughan and Ryan Newman. Gaughan has a little bit fresher tires than Ryan.
He does. They've been side by side for lap after lap here. And either one seemed to get an advantage.
We can tell you during the break that race leader Kevin Harvick put John Borneman a lap down. He is in 16th. 15 cars now on the lead lap. A total of 10 are out of this race. We have passed halfway, and now
spin. Got somebody in the grass.
Down in the infield,
like Steven
coming out of 4.
And the yellow's out. See if he's back out on the track, but he's got a flat right rear.
There, Tim. I know you ran into that damn lap car.
So obviously some contact according to the spotter on the radio. So our second caution comes out now.
Here right side, what do we got to be ready for?
Lap 80. And again, Danica Patrick, she's the second in line for the lucky dog, just like the last yellow. It's going to go to John Borneman III. Let's show you what happened here.
Yeah, he's got fresh tires, just pitted, and just not quite clear. Can't see who the car is. Looks like it might be James Busher in the 11. Just not quite clear right there.
You can hear he was feeding the throttle there.
He's got in the fence. And down to her. All right.
And there is a great deal of damage. Left front corner, the right rear. And Stephen back on pit road trying to make his way down, and he's at the far end of pit road. He was running 16th. And he was the last car on the lead lap because remember he had just made a green flag pit stop. And we go over the wall with Mark Hollywood Armstrong.
You got that hammer there beating the left or the right front fender out. The guys on the rear doing about the same thing. They've got a lot of damage they got to fix. Just hoping they don't have any suspension parts bent. You see, that's what they call a sawzall. So they're going to try to cut some of the parts away.
Pit road is still shown as closed, so everybody will be going another lap around, and the work continues on the 66 here in our second caution that came out here on lap number 80. Race leader Kevin Harvick. Let me ask you a question. You know your car's not good on the short run. If you're Kevin Harvick, are you worried about that because of the very thing we talked about, a late race restart, which has been the traditional occurrence here?
Well, this is one of the tracks that I would probably like to have a car that was good in a long run, because you see a lot of green flag runs, and we could likely see it go green. There's 70 laps to go. I mean, we could see it go green to the end. I just would be hesitant, to change that car, because what you could do is get it where it's not really good on the short run or the long run.
So you could shoot yourself in the foot is basically what you're saying.
Yeah, you can. So I think if I was Harvick, I just hope it goes my way, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, we got fluid on the track, so there is going to be some extended cleanup here. And while it gives us a moment to talk about Saturday Night Football, it's continuing on ABC, a great rivalry. Christian Ponder leads 23rd ranked Seminoles against Corey Harris and the 13th ranked Miami Hurricanes. Some on the West Coast will see USC take on Stanford. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
Wouldn't it be cool?
You can see by the oil dry on the lower lane that we have got a major cleanup. We didn't expect to see this much fluid, but what happened was on the contact, Andy, on the 66 when he hit the wall.
Yeah, the drive shaft runs fairly close to the oil tank, and that rear end got knocked over just enough from that impact to get the drive shaft over into it and put a big old hole in the oil tank, and there's 5 gallons of oil in there. So there's a lot of it on the track, and you can see it on pit road still.
About 3 of it is out on the track.
Yeah, there's a lot of oil. They're cleaning it up. They've put a streak of that speedy dry all the way around the apron of the racetrack.
Well, our in-race reporter's running in 12th, Eric Almirola. Let's check in with him, DJ.
Eric, Dale Jarrett, you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, buddy, we heard that you were fighting a loose race car early on. We made it better, and what are the prospects for getting it even better yet?
Yeah, we're working on it. Pops and all the guys on his GT Vodka team are doing a good job. We're just fighting loose, really loose, getting into the corner. The whole car just gets up on top of the racetrack, and it really makes it hard for me to pick a line. So we're working on it. Pops made it better that first stop, to see if we can make it better here.
Eric, we've talked about before the race the seams in the racetrack. We've heard some other drivers comment on it. Are they as slick as what we anticipated, what some of these drivers are talking about?
Yeah, they're really, really slick. Every time you cross one, it just really upsets the race car. if you get in the corner just wrong and you get your right sides on them, it's worth about a half a second. It really kills your lamp. The straightaways are so long, you really got to concentrate on hitting your mark. So we've been fighting that a little bit too, but we'll get it fixed up here. There's still a lot of racing to go.
Yeah, you're right about that. Good luck working on it, and we'll watch you go forward, buddy.
Thank you.
We are still under this extended caution period. They've still got a lot of oil dry out on the track from Stephen Wallace's incident. And it'll be Stephen's 6th DNF and his 8th finish of 30th or worse this season. Not the kind of race he wanted to have today. And as pits are still closed, we'll take a quick break and come back with Kevin Harvick, the race leader.
While we work the caution, here's our 5-hour Energy Rapid Recap just past halfway. Race for the lead basically been between Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch. Joey Logano has joined the fight lately, but it's been Harvick and Busch that have dominated the top 2 spots so far. Danica Patrick, first repeat try at a stock car race this year. Done pretty well.
Yeah, she's done real good. This is her best run so far. She's staying real cool, working on the car. Pretty good shape right now. She's in 17th, only 1 lap down.
And the only cautions of the day, one for debris at lap 46, and then this one for Steve Wallace.
Yeah, Steve had come down, had a green flag stop, was coming back on the racetrack, didn't quite get the car cleared. It was coming off the corner, got into him, knocked a big old hole in his oil tank, and he's done for right now.
And spread a little stream of oil all the way around this racetrack, and so that has been the delay in opening pit road. You don't want slick spots coming onto and getting off of the pit lane, and plus you want to give the safety crews time to work and clean that up down at the bottom of the racetrack, and that's been what's happening. Pit road has not yet been open. Again, just the 2 yellows in the race so far through its first 85 laps, and just 3 leaders. Kevin Harvick has led 70 laps, Kyle Busch 14, and Martin Truex Jr. a single lap during an exchange of green flag pit stops. So while the drivers are motoring around behind the pace car waiting for the pit road to be open, communication going back and forth. Hey, how can you help the race car and so on. Reed Sorensen giving his team some feedback, Dave.
Yep, and it was not about his neck and the discomfort in the cockpit anymore. It was maybe about getting up to speed. Listen to this.
Hey, remember to remind me on these restarts to remember to concentrate on shifting. So seems to be what we have to do. It's the same, exact same deal as the past 2 weeks, and I don't know what to do, man.
What he's describing is going from 3rd to 4th, so it's not leaving pit road. It's not on the initial restart, but it's when he's at his highest speed point before he shifts into high gear, and that could be interesting going into turn number 1 the rest of the day, Alan, on restarts.
And especially if you're the guy behind him in that restart, right, Rusty?
Well, when you're shifting, a lot of times there's different techniques, and he's just got the technique wrong right now, and he's trying to remind himself to get it right, shift where it needs to be, to get the maximum RPM, to get his momentum going, and that's what's bugging him right now.
All right, pit road still closed. Kevin Harvick still the first car behind the pace car. Jamie, what's his team getting ready to, or what are they thinking about?
Well, they're all up on the wall right now as crew chief Ernie Cope standing here anticipating this round of pit stops. So you guys were extremely free and loose that last round. What do you do? Set up for the shorter run, or do you bank on more longer runs, Ernie?
Yeah, we're going to do a very minor adjustment to tighten it up. It's just a little freer, and he wants to be on entry, but we're getting such a good run off the corner that we don't want to hurt that, get it bound up off the corner. But it's going to be very small. Something, if it's too much, we can undo for the last stop.
Perhaps a little wedge adjustment and 4 tires coming up here as soon as we get to pit stops. Right now, let's check in with Dr. Punch.
Jamie, been a very tough week for Jason Ratcliffe, who's the crew chief for Kyle Busch. And why? Because Jason, one of his good buddies and someone we've known for a long time nationwide crew member for Bruco Motorsports, Jason Terry, suddenly passed away middle of this week. Now, his nickname was Smiley. Jason Ratcliffe, that guy right there, gave him the nickname Smiley because he's always smiling and making everyone laugh and smile. On Wednesday, he went to work at the race shop, went to the doctor, had a heart attack, and passed away at the age of 39. So a tough week for a lot of people like that guy on pit road today. Vince?
Danica Patrick currently running 17th. She's 1 spot away from the lucky dog. And when this yellow first came out, interesting conversation between her and crew chief Tony Uri Jr. about staying out, maybe getting that lucky dog when everybody else pits, being in position to get back on the lead lap. Danica came in showing some leadership, said, I really think that I need the 4 tires. I don't think we can go another 20 laps on these tires with the way the car is feeling right now. I feel like I'd have a better chance racing them on fresh tires. Tony Uri Jr. looked back over some of the lap times, said he agreed. And interesting to hear the conversation between the two as they continue to familiarize themselves with one another as we see the cars head to pit lane.
Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, all the lead lap cars coming down pit road. Remember, we've had the spotlight on the Harvick pit crew throughout the day. Let's see how they do here. Jamie?
Well, you heard Ernie Cope make the call for Kevin Harvick. They're banking on more long runs, and they don't want to hurt this car. It's been great. Just a bit free in, so the call is a small wedge adjustment and 4 tires. Very minimal changes here, Dave.
Third place, Logano needs the front end to grip. Air pressure out of the right, front down on the track bar, a half round. Watch the oil from the 66 as you accelerate out. Doc?
Middle of your screen, Brad Keselowski said, I need front grip. That's air pressure and weight for crew chief Wedge, for crew chief Paul Wolf. Bottom of your screen, Kyle Busch said, I'm loose in, tied off, just an air pressure adjustment only. As they drop it off the jacks and head back toward turn 1.
Oh boy, watch the Nationwide Insurance race off of pit road.
Kevin Harvick is going to be yelling at some folks here shortly. I can tell you that right now.
Can we not win a damn race?
And Carl Edwards up 4 spots. The Roush Fenway guys getting it done for driver 60. So, little shuffle of the standings here. We'll see if Harvick has a car he can charge from behind with now.
We've completed 88 of 150 laps under our second caution, and boy, it was an eventful round of pit stops as Carl Edwards picked up 4, takes over the race lead, and Kevin Harvick drops 5. Let's go back and show you exactly what happened.
Okay, you see Kevin Harvick, he's led the race all day, had a great car. The pit crew did a good job that first green flag stop, but man, they have a totally disastrous stop right here on the right side. You can see the rear tire carrier having a real hard time getting that tire up on the axle. They come around here and try to, minimize the damage on the left side, but it's already done, and losing 5 spots on pit road.
Kevin Harvick has led more laps here today than any time else in the 16 starts that he's had in the Nationwide Series here at his home track. And if he wants to win his first race here in the Nationwide Series, he's going to have to rally back again. He's going to restart in 5th. Now, if you're wondering, where's Kyle Busch? Well, let's take a look at this pit crew comparison first.
Carl Edwards had a great pit stop, 13.3, and his team gained all those spots. But you can see that 9.6, that's where all the problems were on Kevin Harvick's car.
All right, let's check in with Jamie Little on what happened on that pit stop.
Well, you guys, there was a good reason that pit stop was slower. Josh Chaney, the rear carrier, as you mentioned, you saw him a little slow. He got gas in his eyes, something that we saw a couple of times. There he is right there. They've been washing his eyes out, but we saw it a couple times last week at Kansas. You see the medical field there washing his eyes out, and the gas man said he was just down low, and when he pulled the can, the gas just flew in his eyes. So that's a good reason why that team lost 5 positions.
All right, Jamie, and obviously the crew will continue their work. Now, as we see all these cars, you're saying, wait a minute, I don't see the 18 out there. Well, Kyle got busted for speeding. Remember, there were 12 speeding penalties that Alan talked about at the beginning of the broadcast? Well, Kyle is going to have to serve that penalty as he moves to the back. Now, 3 races this year have been won by drivers receiving speeding penalties. Brad Keselowski at Talladega, Kyle at Charlotte and Chicagoland. So he can do it, but he's going to have to come from the back again. He'll restart in 15th position. John Bornham in the 3rd, got the lucky dog. He's back on the lead lap. We had wave arounds of Menard, Green, Kenny Wallace, and Tony Raines, and we're racing again up front with Carl Edwards taking the high side. There's Kyle. Keep an eye on this. This could get good.
Look at this.
Excuse me, pardon me, playing through.
It's going to be good when you get to the corner.
There he is atop your screen. Here comes Brad Keselowski going for the race lead over Carl Edwards. He's got the low line. Justin Allgaier is going to come with him. Here comes Reed Sorensen, Martin Truex as well.
See all the dust kicking up from the speed. Oh, hey, look at that. So all that dust from the speedy drive put down for Stephen Wallace's oil tank rupture.
Further back, there's Kyle as he continues to move his way up through this field.
That looked kind of cool coming off that corner.
Unless you were the guy in the second car where you couldn't see anything for the whiteout. Well, Brad Keselowski is going to become our 5th different leader. Here's Kevin Harvick. He's got his hands full right now with Trevor Bayne.
And Trevor Bayne having a good race. This is only his 2nd time in a Roush car and having a lot better race than he had last week.
And remember, Harvick's car was not good on the first 2, the start and the first restart.
And we haven't seen him back in traffic either.
Ryan Newman with all 4 tires down on the apron that time, trying to get a run off the corner.
Takes Kevin about 8-9 laps for his car to really come in. Right behind him, you see Newman, along with the 17 of Bayne, the 62 of Brendan Gaughan. Where's Kyle Busch? There's Kyle and Danica Patrick. She could learn a few things. Just follow that 18 car.
Oh, yeah, that's the easiest thing. What 11 races. Just go out there and keep up with him right now is all you got to do. But she is doing a great job.
Danica right now running in 19th, and again, she's back in the lucky dog position.
I think it was a great decision that they made to go ahead and get tires instead of taking that wave around, because she's got a fast enough car today to race her way into that lucky dog spot should the caution come out.
Let's check in on the battle for 5th place, because Reed Sorensen's got pressure all over Joey Logano. Now Logano begins to open up a bit of ground on Reed. Let's get an update, Dave.
Hey, Marty, that's 5 spots gained since the restart. So the question is, where did Logano go on that round of pit stops? He restarted 10th. He had been running 3rd. Just talked to rear tire changer Jonathan Sherman about what happened on the right rear. Got the tire off, and when he was indexing the right rear tire back on, it got caught up in the wheel well. These guys pit Denny Hamlin's car on Sundays. They have a much bigger wheel well to work with, and John said, I just got the tire caught up as I was putting it back on. Cost him time.
All right, thanks for the update. Let's get an update on Kyle Busch. He's side by side with Brendan Gaughan, and that is for position on the racetrack. Kyle moves into the top 10.
Yeah, he's going in a hurry.
It's Trevor Bayne on the high side, and he would be the next victim. Now move Kyle, if he gets past Bayne, into 9th, and he does. And here we go on board, Eric Almirola. Kyle's got some clean air now. He's got about 7/10 of a second before he'll catch up to Ryan Newman. A little bit further back, Danica Patrick, you see her. And here comes Kevin Harvick as he gets around the 32 of Reed Sorensen. So Harvick starting to make his move back up again. Now the tires are coming back.
Like I said, this is the first time Harvick's had to deal with traffic, and I don't know that he, will be real happy with the way his car is, without having that clean air that he's had all day. Going to have to really fight his way to get back up front.
I think he's certainly hoping that he gets back to the front, that he won't have to deal with traffic anymore.
Race leader Brad Keselowski, followed by Carl Edwards. Justin Allgaier with a good race car underneath him. We told you earlier that is the winning car that he drove back at Bristol earlier this year. Let's check in on the battle for 11th, because Eric Almirola and Trevor Bayne. There's Michael Annett in this mix also.
Michael Annett's had a very good, solid day so far to this point. He's been right around that 10th position all day.
On board with Eric, here comes Trevor. Trevor, of course, driving for Roush Fenway now. Will be in their team next year. Let's go 3 wide. Why not, guys? Here we go. It's going to get a little tight on exit. They give each other room.
Yeah, there's a lot of room out there as long as each one of them's a little bit considerate of each other. You see they catch Brendan Gaughan there in a hurry. Michael Annett looks like he might be in the best spot to make a couple of positions.
18th place will tell you Tony Raines has come in for an unscheduled pit stop. He is on pit road right now. On the right side is the battle for 5th, as now Kevin Harvick takes over the spot from Joey Logano.
Look at Danica Patrick now making a move on Almirola. He's a lead lap car, but her car's fast today. I'm telling you, she's doing a great job.
Amarola's in 13th. Danica 1 lap down right now. In fact, shown in 18th position.
Yeah, she just needs a little bit of a break here with the caution, and she'll get back on the lead lap, and she could realize her goal today, and that would be to finish in the top 15. She definitely has a car capable of doing it. Vince?
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. And her and the confidence that I'm hearing in her voice, and also the voice in Tony Uri Jr., much different from what we've been hearing from this camp throughout the other races. And, Tony Uri Jr. said in February when they were here, they just focused on getting her laps. This time, they really worked on a qualifying setup and a race strategy. They know they've got a fast race car, and she's willing to go race it today. She has been racy, as you guys have noted.
So far, so good for Danica Patrick. On the right side of your screen, Carl Edwards and Justin Allgaier are going after each other for 2nd spot, and it's allowing Brad Keselowski, Allgaier's teammate, to open up a 1.2-second lead.
Yeah, but Justin Allgaier's doing a nice job today. He's got a fast race car. He's worked really hard in traffic. You can see him utilizing the apron there to get a run off and take that 2nd spot away.
Yeah, put the 2 Dodges up at the front.
Well, and I asked Justin about next year. He says, no, nothing is certain. He says, we're looking. We know that there's a possibility. Sam Hornish could be coming back to the Nationwide Series. I said, does that add pressure for you to go out and perform? He says, no, it's no different for me than any other time. I want to go do the best job that I can. He said, I think we have a good race car today.
Well, he said it didn't add any pressure, but I bet you it did. And he's doing a good job. He's responding well to the pressure by running as well as he is.
There you see the gap, and Kevin Harvick trying to reel in Carl Edwards. There's the side view of it. And where is the race leader? You got to come up a little bit further. There he is, Brad Keselowski, our 5th different leads, and he's had 7 lead changes. So Brad Keselowski, who right now is in control of the points by just under 400, is also in control of this race. Welcome back to the CampingWorld.com 300. Make sure to go to NASCAR.com for all your latest NASCAR information. We're under our 3rd caution. There is some debris, and a pretty good chunk of it right down in turn number 1 that we saw during the break. The crew is out and just got to that location. So it's about, 26 laps since the last round of pit stops. And it looks like, let's get the radio from the 33 of Kevin Harvick.
Man, I'm terrified to come down pit road to tell you the truth, but...
Well, we're going to find out if the crew can help him out. Let's send it down to Vince Welch with Justin Allgaier.
It's been a good run for Allgaier so far today. As you guys have noted, he started in 11th. He's up to 2nd. They reminded him here, pit road speed and don't slide through the box. It's a 4-tire change for Allgaier. They're not going to make any adjustments, air pressure or chassis. Jamie?
And this team, you heard Kevin Harvick, they better get it done this time. No adjustments, 4 tires, fill it up with fuel. Rear carrier is back in action, Dave.
Logano worked his way back up to 5th. Looks a little bit smoother this time. They're going to loosen the race car up just a little bit. Doc, bottom of your screen, Brad K, air pressure only. They called off the chassis adjustment. 13.6. Keselowski is down, and he will be the first off of pit road as they scramble back toward 1.
Well, our nationwide insurance race off pit road shows the top 4 spots did not gain or lose, so that is good news for Kevin Harvick. Kyle Busch is back into the top 5. He had picked up 8 spots in 12 laps after the penalty, and here he is right back in the mix again.
And Harvick's crew health station, they had a good pit stop right there.
And we can tell you the lucky dog goes to Danica Patrick. The other 2 times she had just been passed by another car. And this time she is now back on the lead lap, so that will give us, if the math is correct, about 19 cars on the lead lap. So there's your race leader, Brad Keselowski. We'll show you the race off pit road one more time as we hit the commercial break, as we've completed 103 of 150. Well, you see the number of cars that are taking the wave around here at Auto Club Speedway with 45 laps to go. And here comes the pace car with race leader Brad Keselowski and Justin Allgaier, his Penske teammate. So Dodge running 1-2. Right behind in row number 2, Carl Edwards and Kevin Harvick. Well, we got a moment. Let's take a look at the Fast 5 on the pit stop breakdown, Andy.
Yeah, you see how competitive it is. And those 12-8, Justin Allgaier, Brad Keselowski, both of those teammates doing a great job on pit road. Kyle Busch's team always strong, 13 flat. See, Kevin Harvick's team did a good job too.
And an update from Jamie Little during the break. It was not fuel that got into that pit crew member's eyes. It was the quick dry, the speedy dry.
Oh, there was a lot of that down there.
And Kevin does not know that. They did not tell him that on the radio. So let's go back on the radio and listen in.
Need to be saving here, Ernie? Yeah. With this caution, she'll put us right on the money, but we have nothing for a green-white checkered. Just save all you can.
Now, he's obviously talking about fuel, right?
Yeah, that's everybody's right on the edge of the window of making it to the end. Probably some that can't make it. I just heard that Kevin Harvick can.
All right, 11 waiver rounds. Here they go. Carmichael, Scott, Buscher, Nemechek, Mike Wallace, McDowell, Richardson Jr., Raines, Shepard, Allen, and Keller. So now we've got a total of 26 cars back on the lead lap. It's Brad Keselowski. He's picked the inside with Allgaier, Edwards, Harvick, and Kyle Busch is in 5th. Here we go.
Oh, check this out. Boy, they're running each other to the apron.
Reed Sorensen way down low in the 32. 3 wide coming out of the corner. Multiple rows. Everybody hanging on so far. Going to be 3 wide down the backstretch. That's Almirola right in the middle of that pack. That's Paul Menard also in the mix back there. Race leader Brad Keselowski holds on. Here comes Kyle on the high side around Harvick, trying to take over the spot. Look at him. Come on. He's
going to get another one right here.
It's incredibly fast on these new tires. He's going to pick up the second spot from Allgaier, and he's going to look up and say, Brad, here's your old buddy in your rearview mirror.
I was telling you, wasn't many laps ago that 18 car was at the back of the pack for a speeding penalty. Just been amazing to watch him come through.
Picked up 8 spots at 12 laps, and here he goes, now looking for the race lead. And a little bit further back, Harvick's got his hands full again because here comes the 99 of Martin Truex.
Yeah, Truex looked like they've adjusted on this car. He's been pretty loose on new tires himself throughout the day.
Carl Edwards also getting into play here. Look out.
See, Truex was wanting to slide up in front, but he knew that 60 was right there, had to give him that spot, fall back in line.
And it allowed Reed Sorensen to close in a little bit on the 99 as well. Meanwhile, there's the battle up front. Kyle back where we've seen him all day long, especially when he's got fresh tires, down hugging that line.
Yeah, when he gets down to turns 3 and 4, we expect to see him do that big dive to the bottom, and probably, like you said, they'll get beside the 22. I don't know if he can clear him or not. It looks like Brad Keselowski's going down there, too.
Yeah, Brad changed his line there to stay in front, and what that does is take some of that air away from the guy behind you, so pretty smart move on Brad Keselowski's part right there.
There's your top 5 right in the screen, and you see Keselowski now as he comes across the stripe this time. His lead is 0.3 of a second. A little bit further back, that's Joey Logano going side by side with Ryan Newman. That is for 8th position. Back to the battle up front because, again, Busch continues to try the low line.
See Keselowski going all the way to the wall in 1 and 2, and then he ran the bottom in 3 and 4. See if he does it again this lap.
I'll tell you what, you can see another thing, that 22's got a lot of horsepower under the hood.
Yeah, he's pulling away down the backstretch, and that's giving him plenty of room here this time. And here comes Allgaier closing on Kyle. Harvick's watching this. Uh-oh, and word from the pits at 62 may have scraped the wall. I don't see too much damage.
I don't see any, really. I don't know if he maybe just got real close.
He's running 15th right now with Brendan Gaughan. Right behind him is Michael Annett and Danica Patrick. Meanwhile, this is the best action. It's for the race lead.
Boy, Kyle's car really good on the bottom in 1 and 2.
Heading for 3. You see how rough that backstretch is. All 3 now heading for the low line on the track.
Yeah, literally low line. They're all below the white line with their left side tires. Looks like Harvick's the best for Brad.
Looks like Harvick's the only one of those top 5 that's using that high line all 4.
2, I'm way too tight, 3 and 4.
That's working for him in 1 and 2 by being tight, but it's killing him over there in 3 and 4.
And I think a lot of it has to do with Brad Keselowski choosing that low line.
And there he does it now. This is the first time he's been on the bottom in 1 and 2.
Holds off Kyle, but now it's allowed everybody to close up. Throw a blanket over the top 5.
Right now, you're good where he's bad, vice versa, man. Just nice and smooth here.
You're the team talking about you're good where he's bad and vice versa.
Well, look at Allgaier, though. His car is really strong.
Yeah, this is a line that Kyle Busch tried a little bit earlier today. He was trying to run Kevin Harvick back down. Here comes Harvick with a big run.
And Harvick's going to get the spot on Allgaier, and boy, we almost had a collision there.
You can see how Kyle Busch got all the way back to the 22 because that allowed him to carry more straightaway speed.
Going down into 1. This time Kyle's going to stay up in the midsection of the track.
Yeah, he's going to have a run off of turn 2 right here. He's going to take the lead.
Here we go. So Kyle Busch, remember, he's won twice before when he's had speeding penalties. Here he is back in the race lead after a speeding penalty.
Yeah, and here comes Harvick, too. Watch this. He's working the top side over here. His car's starting to come around.
Kyle Busch had moved around earlier to try to stay out of those seams, and it seemed to be working really well for him. Look at Harvick, the run that he has.
Side by side with the 22 of Keselowski, and Harvick wants a piece of the race lead. He's into 2nd.
Yeah, what you saw Harvick do there is classic side drafting right there. He got up right next to the quarter panel of the 22. That pulled him back a little. He pulled out and made the pass.
Well, Brad Keselowski said in the pre-race, draft often decides the end of this race, and we're seeing a little bit of that right now.
Oh, absolutely. That's all they're doing right now is using that draft to their advantage.
And here comes Justin Allgaier on his teammate as he pulled out after getting a bit of tow. Goes all the way, 4 below the line.
Almost to the grass.
Comes Harvick for the lead. Race lead could change hands again. Kevin Harvick on the high side. He's going to clear Kyle Busch. So Kevin Harvick rebounds from one bad pit stop and retakes the race lead.
Well, what a solid car Harvick's had all day. They've made a few slight adjustments with this race car, but it's just been very, very fast.
It took Kyle Busch just 23 laps, if you count them all, to go from 15th when he served the penalty back to first. Right now he's running in second. Here we go with Joey Logano going underneath Carl Edwards. All of a sudden Carl is losing contact with that group, and Joey looks like he's going to be able to clear him.
I think Joey has a fast race car, but the last 2 pit stops have gotten him back in traffic. He's just had to fight his way back.
He holds on to the spot as they cross the stripe. Right now, 35 laps to go. Let's check in a little bit further as we go back for the race lead. Here comes Kyle on the low line again. How many times have we seen this act today?
This car's really good down there on the bottom. As Andy was pointing out, he really makes a nice run. That serves him well, but I have a hard time passing Kevin Harvick here. I think he's just kind of sizing up exactly what he can do, how far he can take this.
It's the longer way around, but the momentum that the 33 is able to carry is enough that he maintains control of the race lead.
Kyle Busch not going to give up. He's going to keep trying something different every lap if it takes it to see if he can find something to beat Kevin.
The top 4 have pulled away from the second group. Truex is 2.7 seconds behind the race lead. And there you see Martin screaming through with Joey Logano. And right behind Logano is Carl Edwards. A little bit further back, you'll find Ryan Newman, Sorensen, and Almirola rounding out the top 10. There they are. A little bit further back, let's check in on this battle because we've got a number of cars, including Danica Patrick in this mix. She is 9.7 seconds behind the race lead in 16th position.
Yeah, just made a pass on Mike Bliss there for that 16th spot. So moving forward, and it's a couple of cars in front of her that will be for another spot that she's actually running faster. Vince?
You know, I think the big difference that we're hearing is that she is understanding the car more and more each week that she's been in it. And, of course, now she's going to be in the Nationwide car throughout the rest of the season. But the more she's in the car, the more she understands it, the more Tony Eury understands her language, and the more she understands his. And you can hear them on the radio with their confidence growing as they tell her, go race them, go get them. And she's got the confidence now to do it. The car is much better today than what we've heard her have to deal with in previous races. So I think this whole group starting to take a step forward, and we're starting to see her show her hand running on the lead lap.
Great stuff, Vince. Is also great stuff. The battle for 5th right now with Joey Logano and Martin Truex Jr. They're duking it out. Right behind is Carl Edwards. As we mentioned, his car has fallen off a little bit here in the last few laps.
Yeah, this just hasn't been the typical day. As you see Truex trying to work that bottom side and take that 5th spot away from Joey Logano, but just hasn't been the normal Carl Edwards day that we expect here at California.
You see them come down that long backstretch here at Auto Club Speedway with 32 laps to go. There's your top 5. Does Kevin Harvick get his first win at his home track?
28 laps to go here in California. Kevin Harvick opening up a 9/10 of a second lead on Kyle Busch. We remind you that tomorrow it's the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Pepsi Max 400 from here in California. Coverage on ESPN at 3 Eastern time. We start with NASCAR Countdown at 2 Eastern. Jimmy Johnson live in our studio. NASCAR Now tomorrow morning and tomorrow night. Pre and post race coverage from California 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. And the drag racers, Toyo Tires NHRA Nationals in Pennsylvania, qualifying tonight 10:30 Eastern ESPN2. And the finals tomorrow at 9 Eastern. Note that is on ESPN, our motorsports calendar for the weekend. And from the pit studio with Rusty Wallace and Brad Doherty, talking about 3 different situations with Kevin Harvick versus Kyle Busch as this race comes to a finish. 1, fuel to the end. Kevin has attracted your attention there, Rusty.
Yeah, he really has. Hey, Brad, follow along with me for a second here.
I'm with you.
I'm a little bit nervous here. You know, when I think about Kevin Harvick, I think about brute speed. I don't think about a guy that knows how to save fuel real good. I don't think about a guy that's really good on luck when it comes to pit stops. The problem I'm seeing right now, he's running the high line all around this racetrack, the longest way around. He's got no drafting help. He's up front pushing all the air, all the bad things for extra fuel mileage. And the way I calculated this, Alan, he can run 46 laps at the max. I don't know if he's going to make it on field if this thing continues.
Do you remember to carry the 1, right?
I did.
Okay.
I think I got it right this time.
That's okay. Just checking. Other thing, Kevin Harvick, his car's been better on the long run than the short run. A late caution wouldn't be good for him.
Yeah, I mean, because we really don't know. He has been excellent on the long runs throughout the day. We've seen long green flag runs. He may have a great race car on a short run. He's running really good lap times, but the biggest concern is Kevin Harvick making it to that last lap without question.
Edwards and Logano, pretty good race for 5th position. Joey in the 20, Carl in the 60. Logano trying to move back forward after losing a couple of spots on his last pit stop. Final point where Kevin Harvick's concerned, and I know it's been a theme of the day for us, and we don't want to seem like we're harping on it, but really it's based in fact. If the caution does come out, he's got to come down pit road again, and can his crew go toe-to-toe with Kyle Busch's one more time and get Kevin out with the race lead?
They can do it.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll find out the answers to all these and all the other questions, as they might say in the old Hollywood teaser, as we come back for the final 25 laps here in Southern California. Harvick's the leader, and trouble on the racetrack. Here.
Do you want to own a... Got back as quick as we could. It happened just as we were going to a local break. We are under our 4th caution. Michael Annett, it looked like he had a right front go down on him, and he got Brendan Gaughan and swept him up. The pits are open. We'll show you the replay of how this all happened, but here we go for what is always called the money stop. Vince?
Well, for Justin Allgaier, if he has any shot at winning this race at all, he has got to be better in the middle of the corner. He says the drive off is really good, but it's just too tight in the middle. So they're going to go back on an air pressure adjustment from earlier in the right rear. Otherwise, no changes, 4-tire stop. Jamie?
Kevin Harvick's car is good. They're going to fill it all the way up just so it doesn't change the balance of the race car. Put 4 new tires on it, and that is it. No adjustments for Kevin Harvick. Doc?
Bottoming of cream, Brad Keselowski. Good in 1 and 2, tight in 4. Going to make an air pressure adjustment for Brad K. Middle of your screen, track bar. Half round on the track bar for Kyle Busch. Said he is tight in the center, particularly in 3 and 4. They are down and away what should be the final stop. No questions about fuel mileage now, guys.
Oh, my goodness. Look at Harvick's team. Lost 4 spots. Kyle Busch gained 2, and he's got the lead.
That's right. Carl Edwards picks up 4 again. His crew has been stellar today. Allgaier picks up 1. Truex picks up 4. Keselowski holds station in 5th. So again, Kevin Harvick is going to have to come back from another bad pit stop. All right, let's show you what happened and why we are under this 4th caution involving Michael Annett. And watch as here goes Brendan Gaughan to the high side.
Yeah, he was just going to the outside of him, going to try to make a pass, and you can see the right front tire let go in Michael Annett's car. Just a terrible break for Brendan Gaughan, unfortunately, there. For both, for Michael Annett with the blown tire also, but Brendan, wrong place, wrong time.
Those two are battling for 13th on the racetrack. And for Brendan, whose wife Tatum is expecting their first child any day now. In fact, his sister is also pregnant, Katie, and they're due the same week. He said it could be a very hectic time in the Gaughan family. And a tough break, the way to end it today, because he had a good car and it was running in the top 15.
With Harvick's pit crew not getting the job done there, without another caution, this might have just handed this thing to
Six spots we lost. Why not?
Yeah,
I understand the frustration from Kevin Harvick. I mean, he has such a good car, and losing those spots on pit road is just really hard to take.
Well, Andy, you pinpointed it as we got ready to come on.
Well, they have to perform down there, and it's just been a kind of a ongoing thing with this team. You know, the cars get better, and pit crew no matter how good a car you have, you cannot win these races if you don't get off pit road.
Well, here are the pit crew times, and only the second stop was really stellar.
Yeah, you can see leading both 2 of those times came out 6, so I mean, that's just a killer. Especially now, we're talking about 20 laps to go when we get the green. Not a lot of time to make it up now.
And also remember, it takes his car about 8 or 9 laps for it to come back in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Kyle Busch's car is the best right on the get-go with these new tires on. That's whenever he can stretch things out. Kevin's not only going to have to deal with his race car, but he's going to have to deal with some traffic.
So that's Elena Harvick. She is the car owner. Talking with these guys, trying to encourage them.
Jamie, what are you hearing down there?
Absolutely. You see Delana there. She's trying to give a boost to this team. Obviously, Kevin Harvick very, very frustrated on the radio. This is his home track, trying to win here for the first time. We have the team morale down right now. And you guys hit the nail on the head. Ernie Cope told Kevin Harvick, it takes us about 6 laps to be better than the 18. And now they just took away 5 positions, you heard Kevin say. So they have their work cut out for him, guys, in this last stint. He hopes it goes green to the end because you know this car is better on the long run.
Well, he's led a total of 86 laps here today. He's one of our 5 different leaders. He's led the most and will clinch those points, although obviously he's not in the championship hunt. But let's go back and take a look at the pit stop, see if we can diagnose what happened again.
Yeah, watch this stop. I was just kind of watching on the monitor end from up here, and it looked like the right side went fairly smooth. Looks like he's a little bit behind on the right front. They lose a little bit of time there. Yeah, actually probably really started on the right front. I didn't catch that on the first time I saw it.
And all this caused because of the 2-car crash involving Michael Annett and Brendan Gaughan. And the bad news for Gaughan's team, him and his teammate Stephen Wallace, it's the 4th race this season that both those cars will have failed to finish. Here is the comparison and how they lost the positions, Andy.
Yeah, 2 seconds slower, and it's not just Kyle Busch that beat him off pit road, but 4 other ones.
We'll let you know John Borneman III gets the lucky dog for the 2nd time today. That will give us a total of 25 cars on the lead lap. And while we've got a caution, let's check in with our in-race reporter again, Eric Almirola.
Hey, Eric, Dale Jarrett, you got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, got yourself up in the top 10. How about your race car? Have we made it better again?
Yeah, we've been working on it. Our pit crew's done a really good job of keeping us up here where we're at. I've been struggling, just trying to find a balance. We can make it tight in spots, but we can make it loose in spots too. And I just haven't found the balance I've been looking for. But we got a decent car. Pops and all the guys on the team been working really hard. So we'll see what we got. We've definitely been better on the shorter runs than we have the longer runs. So this might play into our favor.
Yeah, it looks like you're going to have just under 20 laps. I was going to ask you about that. These things tend to get pretty wild. Do you have the car to be able to mix it up here?
Yeah, it really takes off really well, and then just seems like it gets slick on the right rear after we run about a few laps, and I really have a hard time with it there. But right on the initial get-go, it takes off pretty decent, and we can hang with them. So we'll see. Might get excited.
Okay, man, we'll be watching. Good luck.
Still under caution with 20 laps to go. And of course, we mentioned the fact Carl Edwards twice today his pit crew has done stellar work. He is back up in the 2nd position. Carl's also involved in a new program that AFLAC has put together. It's called Beads of Courage, and donations can be made through AFLAC's website, $5 for each bead. And they go to kids in hospitals that go through major procedures. Madison, a 7-year-old from Georgia, Carl is wearing her beads today. And we wish Madison well in her recovery. And it's a great program, so I'm glad that we had a chance to pass it along.
Yeah, Marty, talk about a lot of these drivers doing really good things in a lot of different areas. A lot of the communities they either come from or causes they really believe in, and they don't get enough credit for all the things they do away from the racetrack.
Well, and you mentioned this, some of the other things we talked about earlier. Kevin Harvick, of course, making that endowment for scholarship, over $150,000 to Bakersfield campus, where he grew up, and he said, it's just my way of giving back. As we get ready now with some of the cars, no, they look like they were just trying to avoid the safety vehicle there. Let's talk a little Saturday night football, because now we've got ABC with a great rivalry. 23rd ranked, the Seminoles of Florida State against 13th ranked Miami Hurricanes. And some on the West Coast are going to see USC take on the Stanford Cardinal. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines on ABC, 8 Eastern and 5 Pacific. All right, remember at the beginning of the race, Danica Patrick said her goal is to finish in the top 15 from here on out. Right now, she is 14th. And we go on board with her.
She's got a car good enough to even drive forward, I think, from here. So see how it works out.
Yeah, see how she does. Now, she hasn't been in a position like this, really racing hard here at the end of a race. We got a little less than 20 laps to go, so should be fun to watch. Vince?
Yeah, and as they get ready for this restart, they're reminding her, don't let them push you around. Go get you some. So look for Danica. Hold her ground and maybe grab a spot or two here on the restart.
Well, 11 drivers have finished in the top 10 for JR Motorsports in 2010. Could it be that she could crack the top 10? She's going to have to get around Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Trevor Bayne, Paul Menard, and Reed Sorensen. That's a pretty talented group.
You got Kyle Busch up front. He's won in all 3 major series at this racetrack, and was one other driver that's done that, Marty. I bet you don't know who it is.
Well, I'm sorry. I was looking at the waiver rounds.
It's Mark Martin.
Okay, buddy, thanks. Because I was looking at the waiver rounds. Mark Green, Colin Brown, Kenny Wallace, Morgan Shepherd. That puts 25 cars back on the lead lap. Nope. Lights just came back on, and that could be a good reason why.
They got a truck.
Yeah, I don't think that we want to race with the truck out there.
He's kind of out of the groove, though.
No.
That's right. Kevin Harvick's been up there some.
So it gives us another opportunity. And what it's going to do now, it'll be, 18 to go next time by.
Yeah, and this is just hurting Kevin Harvick's chances even more with each lap that we add here.
Let's see, a couple other cars that we haven't touched a lot of base with. How about Ricky Carmichael? We haven't seen his car much today, but he is running 18th right now as he comes across the line. And a good run last week at Kansas, and then a little bit of a setback here in practice.
He's had a little up and down weekend here. He really fast in practice and then found himself in the wall, pushed it just a little too hard. So they had to get this backup car out. So they kind of started out behind the 8-ball, but done a good job today and stayed on the lead lap now inside the top 20.
You see all those rookie stripes on the back of a
lot of yellow bumpers right there.
A lot of rookies right in front of him, too. How about Ricky Stenhouse? There he is, again, leading the rookie points side by side with Danica Patrick. He's running in 14th right now. And Brian Scott running in the 15th position, right behind him in the 09. So you get to keep the points from your 16 best races. And Ricky is very much focused on that. He knows how much Jack Roush wants another Rookie of the Year honor. He's had so many in his career.
Yeah, one thing I worry about in these restarts, when the intensity level's high, and you've got a lot of yellow bumpers in a cluster right there, they have really got to be on their toes.
Well, and that was what the team was talking about to Danica. Don't let them push you around.
Well, you don't want to get pushed around, but you also want to make sure that you're not doing anything crazy. You have to still pay attention to what you're doing.
Carl Edwards on point, or Kyle Busch, I should say, as he is going to come around, and Kyle's going to be on the low side. No surprise there. Edwards in second. Allgaier, Truex, Brad Keselowski, Kevin Harvick in sixth. That's your top 6 as the pace car gets ready to pull down.
Yeah, you might want to watch this 12 car. He's been really fast on fresh tires, too, so he might have something to say about this conclusion of this race.
Well, he's right behind Kyle Busch, Justin Allgaier, and his teammate Brad Keselowski right behind him. So here we go with now 17 laps to go at Auto Club Speedway. Logano's going down low. We're going to go 3 wide through 1.
Maybe 4 wide.
Yep. Harvick's up the high side. Look out, man. Oh, Keselowski almost clipped with the 99, but he clears him. Here comes Carl Edwards on the high side. Down the back straightaway. You can see just about everybody slicing for a position.
Yeah, Carl's car just does not get up to speed very well. We've seen this on a number of the restarts.
I don't think I'd want to get in Kevin Harvick's way right now. He's got to be mad.
Just like Alan and the gang talked about in Countdown, we always seem to have great finishes here in the Nationwide Series, although Kyle's trying to run away and hide here. Look at the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
And Kevin Harvick right on the rear bumper. Justin Allgaier. I'm sorry, Brad Keselowski was pushing him down through there. Harvick on the back bumper of Keselowski.
Remember, Harvick's car usually takes about 8 laps for it to come in. We're on board with him right now. He is side by side. Now the 22 nosing ahead and going after his teammate, Justin Allgaier. Harvick's going to go back up where he likes it, higher on the track.
See, Brad really drove it down in there to get by Justin Allgaier. Now he's going to try to go after Carl for second. Comes Martin Truex in the 99 battling with Harvick.
He has to pull back in behind Kevin. You're saying, where's Kyle Busch? He has checked out on these guys.
He's got one of those pit road spin down.
Pit road, John Bornham in the 3rd. And how in the world
well
did he
down pit road.
He is a good 7 or 8 pit boxes.
Now that's bizarre right there. I don't know how he got so far down.
Check your tires, Johnny. Check front. Change on 4.
Better check that right front.
Four tires.
Yeah, both right sides. You can see the scuff mark. Obviously hit the blue paint that's on the wall coming out of 4.
He may have been trying to get on pit road, maybe spun getting there, but he was spinning way down pit road.
Keep an eye up high.
Yeah, he gets in the wall, looks like, just a little bit.
Get a better angle of him spinning down here.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, he hits the wall and starts spinning down pit road. But look how far this car goes down through here. This is could have been a scary situation with the crews, but doesn't hit anything there.
One last angle, and oh, there was a little contact there as he slid up.
Lucky he doesn't hit that embankment there at the end of the pit wall.
So Borneman, who had just gotten back on the lead lap, courtesy of the lucky dog, gets 4 fresh tires. You see the damage on the right front corner. And that may be the contact that he had with the car.
Yeah, exactly.
And I couldn't see what car number that was.
He is. I think if this is a break for Kevin Harvick. Almost needed those laps to go to the end, but this does close him back up a little bit to Kyle Busch. But I don't know if this is a break or not.
It could be probably maybe a little bit, but they're winding laps down. Plus, he's going to be starting on the inside, and that's not exactly where his car's been the best all day either.
Well, but the truth is, guys, based on the last restart, Kyle's just going to pull away from him the way, if he does it again like he did last time, he's just going to leave them all in the dust.
Well, Kyle Busch has definitely had the fastest car on the restarts all day long, and all of this is just kind of playing into his favor right now.
Carl Edwards right now has got to be thinking about some kind of anchor that he can tie to the 18.
Yeah, and the one thing that we're going to have is Brad Keselowski lining up on the rear bumper of Kyle Busch. Know that 22 has a lot of motor in it.
Well,
and they have a history.
He might line up right behind him.
True.
Depends on where Kyle does.
Yeah.
If he picks the outside lane, Keselowski is still forced to start on the inside because he's third.
Well, let's reset it for you because none of the front leaders obviously are coming in now with it'll be 12 laps to go, or 13, I should say. Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, Justin Allgaier, Kevin Harvick, your top 5. Then 6 through 10 is Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano, Newman, Sorensen, and Eric Almirola. While we've got a moment, any thoughts from the pit studio guys on what you think might happen here in these closing laps?
Well, first of all, thank you for giving us a moment before you came to us, because we had to regather our thoughts when John Borneman came spinning right by our toes.
I'm looking out the pit studio, and a car goes by me at 200 miles an hour backwards.
It was
unbelievable.
It was interesting. So let's talk about the finish. Let's talk the finish of this race. We've talked about feisty being the word to describe the last couple of finishes here. Have we seen the last caution flag?
No way. We're gonna have, we will have another caution, I think.
We're going to have another caution. The thing, though, is Kyle Busch, he is so fast on the short run. He was checking out right there. If that hadn't have happened, he may have pulled off into the sunset. So somebody's got to get to his rear bumper and hang on.
And that leads to my next question is, watching the Gibbs guys try to make their streak in the Nationwide Series at this track 6 straight.
Yeah.
Is it Kyle or someone else?
Well, 6 out of the last 7 winners in the past few weeks have started on the front row. Kyle Busch started on the front row. I'm going with Kyle.
I've seen Carl Edwards, though, have some miraculous runs. This guy's not scared of nothing. We're running out of laps right now. I think it's going to be a shootout. I really do. And I think there's going to be more cautions and more wrecks. These cats are wound up. They want to win this thing. And, hey, when it gets to the end like it is right now, the tensions really get high.
And I don't want to be on Kevin Harvick's crew chief, pit crew at the end of this race.
All right, short run, feisty finish. I'll just throw this one in there. Don't be surprised if the car number rolling into victory lane is 12 or 33. Ooh. Just in case the other guys all take each other out. Marty, DJ, and Andy, what do you think?
It's going to be good. I won't bet against you on that, Alan, because of what we've seen in the past here, the number of, shall we say, guys sort of moving each other around at very high rates of speed.
Yeah, the problem they have is Kyle Busch goes down into turn 1, and I don't think he ever lifts. And these other guys are having to feather the throttle a little bit. So he just sees such a good run and distance himself a little bit right there. It's going to be hard to catch him.
Let's get an update from pit road, Dr. Jerry Punch.
Yeah, they wanted to fix Kyle's entry, and Jason, you gave him a half around the track bar. I know it helped a lot, but how concerned are you about that 33 car coming?
33's been tough. He's been a little quicker than we've been all day. We just can't quite get the whole corner put together. We've had to work on our exit. It's been a little too tight. And when we work on that, then we get the entry a little too free. So we hit it with a different combination here than we've hit all day. And you know, hopefully with 10 to go, we've hit it right. But Kyle's done a great job. These guys have done a nice job on pit road, obviously. And I also want to say our condolences go out to Jason Terry and his family there in Owensboro, Kentucky. Jason, I worked with Jason for several years. It was an honor for me to work with him. Great guy, and he'll be greatly missed. And our prayers and our thoughts are with his family and friends.
Thank you very much, Jason. Marty?
And Jason obviously still has time to put the proper perspective on everything. As we get ready to go back to green flag racing, we'll tell you that Jason Keller got the lucky dog. Green flag is getting ready and does fly. Kyle Busch is down low where we expected. Carl Edwards right side by side as they come across the stripe.
Well, he got that part of it. The start of it good there for Carl Edwards. Can he hang and get something on his rear quarter here? Let's see.
I don't think so. Looks like Kyle Busch, like you said, Dale, just wide open right through the corner. Look, but only
Keselowski hanging tight.
Yeah, Keselowski tried to hang with him, but boy, he just cannot. Kyle has the lead. Here comes Edwards. A little bit further back. Look at Reed Sorensen ducking out.
Carl got a good run off of turn 2 on him there. He's able to hang a little closer than he was the last time.
Takes 2 wheels below the line, trying to stay right on that back bumper. Next time by, 10 laps to go here at Auto Club Speedway.
Look out. Harvick's just having a terrible time.
He lost a lot of ground right there.
Yeah, he's got Al Mirola he's got to get around right now, along with Ryan Newman. He is going to finally get that spot back, but you're right. Laps are going to be running out for Harvick. 3 wide there. Harvick's back up where he's been running best all day long. He's got those 2 guys cleared, but Harvick still has a long way to go.
It's like,
look out, Danica gets turned.
Turned hard.
Danica Patrick, she was running 14th. Stenhouse is involved. The 10, Ricky Carmichael's involved.
So I was talking about there was a lot of yellow bumpers in that group.
But what should I do? Just come on to the pit. Come on around here.
This was a tough break. She was inside the top 15, which was her goal, and she got turned. Ricky Carmichael also suffered damage, as we pointed out in this one.
Grip on ready, baseball bat, whatever you need.
Our 6th caution here at Auto Club Speedway, with right now 9 laps to go. And Ricky Stenhouse, as he
Bring it
is,
to the pit box.
got a lot of damage. And let's take another look.
Somebody got in the back of James Busher. Looks like maybe Carmichael, and then just forced him, Busher, into the 7. And then it just, man, it all breaks loose.
So at least 3 cars with heavy damage. Let's go on board with Danica and just listen.
There, entry bumper. Still there, clear. Outside now, outside, 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 outside. Stay low, hold the brake there. Hold the brake. Hold the brake. We got a big wreck there. Keep the wheels straight as you can. Keep the wheels straight as you can. Right there. You'll be alright. Alright, but what should I do? Just come on to the pit. Come on around here. Be fine.
One more angle.
Yeah, you could see that the spotter told her that there was someone outside. She gave room to that car, and then unfortunately, wow, I don't know if he got hit from behind, turned out. Hard to tell right there.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell exactly how it happened, but definitely contact from James Busher.
And there's Danica as she's taking it back to the garage area, and her day obviously is over. A tough break here because she really had a top 15 car, and you can see just the look in her eyes.
Yeah, she's got to be disappointed, but she still has to be looking forward to some of the next races coming up because, man, they made a lot of headway this weekend.
Yeah, and this one wasn't her fault by any stretch of the imagination. She drove a great race in the season ender at Miami in the IndyCar Series, racing teammate Tony Kanaan side by side for lap after lap, and she ended up finishing 2nd in that one. And then came out here, and she was running as high as 13th, got passed for 14th at the time of the crash. And there is Ricky Carmichael, the second car that they've dinged up this weekend.
Bristol, when it was like that, they're telling us we got to go behind the wall.
So you heard the call, take it behind the wall.
Go.
So Ricky Carmichael had a great start to his nationwide career last week at Kansas. Is not going to have the kind of result that they were hoping for. He was running on the lead lap as well, had another good run going. So tough breaks for two rookies here in the Nationwide Series. Let's get back to the battle at hand because we're still going to have another restart. Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski up front.
Well, by what we've seen, nobody has anything for Kyle Busch on these restarts. His car might not be to his liking for a longer run, but that's not what he has to deal with here. He's only going to have about 6 laps. So he's going to have to try to hold these guys off.
Well, the lights are out on the pace car, which means we'll be going back to green flag racing next time by. Behind the top 3 of Busch, Edwards, Keselowski is Allgaier, Truex, Harvick, Newman, Almirola, Logano, and Mike Bliss has punched his way with that number 40 car into the top 10. So a great run for that team, because that's not one of the higher funded teams. You look at the quarter panel, you won't see a sponsor on that 40 car. So a great run going right now for Bliss. Right now we show a total of 22 cars. Old Faithful has erupted back in the garage area. 22 cars on the lead lap.
Well, they've had all kinds of problems with that car. I don't think they'll get back out.
Well, right now we only have 7 laps remaining. And Jason Radcliffe looks over and says, okay, guys, it's out of our hands.
Yeah, they've done their job. They put their man out front where he likes that good, clean air and can control these restarts. So it's all up to their drivers to see what they can do on the racetrack now.
You know, you saw Jack Roush there. Roush Fenway Racing and Joe Gibbs Racing have combined won 11 of the last 13 nationwide races here at Auto Club Speedway. And he's got a good chance with Carl Edwards running in second place right now. And whoops, pace lights have just come back on. So we're going to go another lap around here, the 2-mile circuit at Auto Club Speedway. Gives
and you know, everything comes around, but okay. I know it usually doesn't.
All right, well, pace car has pulled off. Well, I asked you to put yourself in the mind of the other guys, and you're hoping for him to spin tires, but we're back to green, and I don't see much in it. Spin it all. Here we go.
Carl hanging with him there for a minute, though.
Carl goes to the high side to protect from Allgaier, and it allows Keselowski to sort of sneak in underneath him.
Brad's going to try to get a nice run on the high side here, see if he can get up to the right rear quarter panel.
He's got a good run. I don't think Kyle's going to get quite as far out this time.
There's Harvick also in the mix by Allgaier. Martin Truex in this mix as well. Here comes Logano as he pulls out to follow the 33.
Yeah, this is not exactly where Kevin's car is good. You can see Allgaier coming back on the outside.
Truex going underneath the 60. You can see how much of a lead Kyle Busch has gained in just 1 lap. This time by 4 to go. We talked about Martin Truex. In fact, you mentioned it, DJ. Could be one of the spoilers. But right now, he's got his hands full with Carl Edwards.
Yeah, but he's done a nice job in this race car as he takes that 3rd spot away from Carl Edwards.
He moves into 3rd, right behind Brad Keselowski.
Yep, had to get out of the throttle.
And look at Kyle just pulling away. Here comes Carl back on Truex. Allgaier's going to follow. Harvick's going to stay on the high side. Down below the line for the 60 and the 12. Oh, we're going to have a 3-wide sandwich. Right, this could get rough.
Yep,
yeah, here it comes. Low, now 4 wide. Logano says, I want to get away from this.
Well, that's a wreck that didn't happen there.
He's got a flat tire.
It's like the 99.
Yep, Truex has got the flat. Look at Kyle just pulling away, and Truex hanging on.
Take care of it right here.
Look out.
Still coming outside. Still coming inside, outside. Hold your line right there. Hold your line.
He's
Hold
trying.
your line. Hold your line. Clear high right there. Just sit tight. Sit tight up there.
Back to the battle with Allgaier and Almirola, and here comes Newman. Also Reed Sorensen and Mike Bliss. This is all for position.
Look at Newman down in the grass. I mean, he had the left side's touching the grass.
And now he slides up. We're getting tight again. Allgaier says, I've seen this movie just one lap ago. He holds on to the spot for now. Meanwhile, Kyle Busch continues to lead. 2 laps remaining. His margin, 0.8 of a second. The battle is right there as you see those guys going tooth and nail after each other.
Yeah, our in-race reporter, Eric Almirola, doing a nice job. He said his car was pretty good on the shorter runs. He's got himself up there in the 6th spot right now.
It's Reed Sorensen a little bit further back, right there, and then off further back even more is Paul Menard. Here comes Newman again underneath the 88. Can't get anything accomplished. This time by, white flag is flying for Kyle Busch. He's already won 11 times this year, and Busch could be extending, and probably is going to extend that record-setting streak to 12 wins in a season. He's down the backstretch for the final time.
Well, he hasn't had the dominant car we've seen here a lot. He's had a very, very fast race car, but everything's worked out in his favor. He came back from a pit road speeding penalty.
It's going to be his 9th Nationwide Series win from the pole as he brings it out at turn number 4. Chalk up win number 12 for 2010 as here comes Kyle Busch.
Yeah, man. That's why you're the champ, man. Thank you so much. Good job, guys.
Harvick did battle back to get around Edwards for 3rd. Then it was Logano, Almirola, Newman, Allgaier, Bliss up the 9th, and Reed Sorensen rounding out the top 10. The congratulations in the 18 camp. And Kyle Busch just keeps extending the record now up to 12
But if you
wins.
do want to do it real easy.
Joe Gibbs, go ahead.
I'm sorry, they seal these engines after these races that they can run again. They're forced to actually run these engines more than once. So they told him right there they could do he could do a burnout, but he had to be real easy on the engine.
Remember Alan talking about in Countdown 6 in a row if they could pull it off? Joe Gibbs Racing has now done it. They've won the last 6 Auto Club Speedway races, a series record for the most consecutive races won by a team at a single track. Is that your definition of being easy?
I don't hear it up against the red limber yet.
Well, let's talk to Jason Radcliffe, see if he's saying, whoa.
We'll check with him. Is that too much of a burnout? Is there any such thing, Jason?
No, he's pretty good at doing burnouts without hurting stuff. You know, he always asks, is this a sealed one or is this not a sealed one? And it's a sealed one, so I don't think he hurt it there. But great time today. We got to thank NOS Energy Drink and everybody at Joe Gibbs Racing. I got to thank Doug Hewitt, Reggie Tucker, all the guys back at the shop for all they do. Again, got to dedicate this race to Jason Terry. And these guys on pit road, when it counted, they got us off pit road first, got us to track position. And Kyle just kept giving good feedback, and we just worked on it, and finally hit on a combination there that was good. And great win for us.
That combination, now, the track changes, so was every one of those combinations in the book, or did you fly by the seat of your pants a couple times?
Well, we had hit on making the entry better, and we had hit on making the exit better, but we never hit on making them both better. And we finally, determined, which one was worth the most speed, and kind of just kept going that direction. Then there at the end, we swung at it a little bit. He had some good suggestions when he hit pit road, and I'm like, I don't know if we can get all that done. And our catch can guy looked up at me and gave me a big nod and said, yeah, I can make it happen. And John Eicher, he did. He got us 2 good adjustments on the track bar and the wedge, and it worked out.
Last week, guys, some mistakes. Today, amazing.
His 12th win in 25 starts this year, and he is now only 6 wins behind Mark Martin for the all-time win record in Nationwide Series.
NASCAR. Tigers look to start the season.
Beautiful San Gabriel Mountains in the background. And remember, Kyle, getting that speeding penalty? It is now the 3rd time in this year that he has come back from a speeding penalty to win the race. Let's go to Victory Lane, Doc.
Kyle Busch sitting in the car and getting ready to stand out. The crew here ready to celebrate his 4th win at Auto Club Speedway, 12th win of the year. And as you said, I think a new record, by the way, for winning after a speeding penalty, 3rd time this year, as they are celebrating and slinging NOS and Gatorade and everything down here. And Kyle high-fiving all the crew. We'll slide in here. Hey, great job, man. And I know a bit of a roll of the dice on that final call by the crews, but Jason did a great job on pit road.
He did. That's why he's is who Jason is. You know, he does a great job, great calls. You know, these guys did an awesome job for me today. And, you know, pit road probably won this race. So, you know, can't thank these guys enough. They do a great job. And thank NOS Energy Drink, Z-Line Designs, Combos, all the guys at Toyota. This is their home track, so it's cool to be here and winning in front of them. And Nationwide Insurance, you know, great series to run with, of course. And I got some comfortable Butler seats, so those are always fun to sit in. Gillette, Marquis Jets, just all the people that make this so much fun. And for us to come out here and get number 12, it's awesome. And, you know, these guys really enjoy doing this, and so do I.
You might have set a record that probably you don't realize. A 3rd time this year you've got a speeding penalty and come back and won the race. I don't think that's ever happened before.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I need to do it more often, but I don't like doing it that late in the race. Obviously, it makes it a little bit harder, and you never know what can happen, especially we saw those late cautions there. That could happen in the point in which I get a speeding penalty and have to go to the back, and we can get caught up in one of those. But fortunately, it all worked out our way and played our way. And this NOS Energy Drink Camry was fast, and you know, Harvick probably had a really, really good car on long runs. He showed that today and probably had the best car, but, you know, our Camry was just good enough where it needed to be on the front side of those runs, or where we had enough cautions there at the end, we held them off.
Hey, congratulations, great run.
You got it, thanks.
Kyle Busch in victory lane. And by the way, guys, the winner of the Saturday Nationwide race here, the last 6 of the last 8 races, that finished 7th or better in the next day's Cup Series race. That could be a pretty good omen for Kyle Busch.
And we'll find out, of course, tomorrow, Doc. And DJ, I know you've been here. The final results for Danica Patrick is going to show a 30th place run, but it's not indicative of the kind of race she had.
No, that's terribly misleading there if you just look at where she finished. She did a great job coming back to a racetrack for the 2nd time, had a good car, worked her way all day, learned a lot, and made a lot of passes. Very good.
Well, let's talk to her. Vince Welch caught up with her.
Well, certainly Danica is disappointed with the finish, but go back to the rest of the race today and the positives that you can take from it.
Yeah, there was a lot of positives, really, Vince. You know, we had a decent car to start, and we were able to sort of hold our ground. We lost a few spots, but kind of sort of settled in, and we made some adjustments that helped the car to turn a little bit better, and we did that on purpose. We tightened up the car for the start because last year, it seemed like a year ago, the beginning of the year, we were just a little too free to start. So we tightened it up, and we kind of anticipated that, so we freed it up, and you know, the frustrating part is I felt like I had a really good car on those last 2 restarts, and you know, just pushing hard and, you know, using all the road, and you know, I kind of got into the car that ended up turning me the lap before, and I didn't mean to, and so that next time, I don't know, I mean, I got pretty close, but I was giving him room. I came off and gave him room, and you know, looking at the replay, it looks like maybe it was avoidable.
As we take a look at the replay, from your perspective, and take the accident out of it, what did you take most from this day today?
I was really happy that that the car was good on the long run. I was really happy with that. It was good kind at the beginning, settling in the middle, and then I came on at the end. And I've been really confused as to what it's going to take to be good from the beginning to the end, and I think that we're getting closer. I really do. Tony Jr. did a good job of setting the car up today. We made good changes. He set the car up right for the start so I could have confidence and we could free it up. And I mean, a lot of things went really well today, so I'm very pleased for that. I'm lucky that you show me on TV to show that I had some good moments, because the result obviously wasn't very good, but you know, we had a good race for the Tissot car today, and you know, we're gonna have a lot of confidence going into Charlotte, I think, and you know, it does make a difference to come back for a 2nd time. It's a bummer there won't be any others.
She's smiling despite the finish. Certainly a much better day today for Danica Patrick. Jamie?
Well, we have Carl Edwards and Justin Allgaier having a little bit of fun here. No short jokes. But, Carl, you had a great day in the pits, great day on the track. Take us through overall your impressions.
Yeah, my Copart.com guys did a really good job on pit road. They had 2 12.5-second pit stops, which is spectacular. So I thought there at the end, I thought we had a chance at it, but we ended up finishing 4th. And, you know, overall, I think that our Copart.com Fusion was like probably a 7th place car all day. So I was really
pretty pleased with fourth for what we had, and we'll just continue, go forward, and hopefully have a good run at Charlotte. We got the Mustang there, and that should be a lot of fun. But just excited about the race tomorrow, and like I said, my guys did a great job on pit road.
All right, good luck tomorrow. We'll see you then. And Justin, you made it exciting there at the end. You and Martin Truex Jr. What exactly was happening there?
Honestly, I don't know. The Verizon Dodge guys did a great job all day long. We felt like we had a fourth or fifth place car. We didn't think we could win the race, but pit crew did an awesome job, and the engines were just unbelievable. So stayed up there and just drove a safe race and tried to make it to the end, and felt like we did that pretty well. And then got together with Martin, and I don't know exactly what happened. I got a run on the inside, and I think Harvick might have gotten a run to the outside. So it's unfortunate that we got the finish that we did, but looking forward to next week, take the Verizon Dodge Challenger and hopefully get a victory. I know the Challenger was in victory lane earlier this year, so we'd like to get one for our team.
All right, Justin Allgaier finishes 8th. Let's go to Dave.
Second place finisher Brad Keselowski, who led 22 laps in the 22 car before not being able to catch Kyle at the end. What was missing?
The 18 and 20 have just had a little more speed than we have this year on the mile and a halves and the 2 miles. So when we got the new car, ran at Michigan, the Dodge Challenger, we were able to get up front and lead laps and win that race. But the regular koi car, whatever we call it, which is a Charger, we're just a little bit off. So we got to do a little bit more work on it, but we spent a lot of time focusing on the new car. So it's kind of a balancing act, but can't wait till next year when we get that car, and hopefully we'll win these races and have the best car. But just off a little bit today, but still had a great points day, led some laps, did everything we wanted to do other than win. So happy with the effort and proud of everybody on my Discount Tire, America's Tire Dodge team.
All right, we'll see Brad in that new Nationwide car next week at Charlotte. Jamie?
Well, Kevin Harvick was certainly the class of the field today with the speed of your race car. How do you sum up a frustrating day on pit road?
Well, I think you just look at the positives and you look at how fast our Jimmy John's Chevrolet was, and that's 2 weeks in a row we've come with something different, probably to the Gibbs best racetracks, and took the best car and gave it away on pit road. So we'll make some changes on pit road this week, and we'll come back with something different.
You guys did bring a different setup for these bigger tracks to roll through the center better. That seemed to have worked. What is your thoughts on that?
Well, our cars are just tremendously better than what they had been. We took that next step, and obviously we got